Okay, here we go, here we go. We should be live now, according to OBS. Okay, let's see here. Let me just summon my live chat over here. Put it on live chat. There we go. Hi, hello. I guess welcome back to part 3 of this installment of just drawing a bunch of eyes. Part number 1, will this pain end? Oh, my goodness. I just scales up a bit. Alright, before I start, I plan to advertise my stream on Instagram, so I'll see if I can just quickly do that. Already basically prepped to just like insert the link into Google and stuff, so like, we should be good. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Copy link. Close this. And, yeah. I would say welcome. I put a compressor on the mic. Plus, I tried to check if audio levels are fine with the music, because the one thing I struggle with is always getting the audio right. But yeah. We should be live, and we are going to stream, and I'm going to finish this. So yeah. Let me just briefly publish my story. There we go. And there we go. That should be public now. Good. Okay. Let's put my phone away from my desk so that I don't accidentally deck it to death. And be gone. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. My tablet controls are inverted. Okay. That's a quick fix. So, for anyone's information who doesn't know, I lately have taken my dad's computer, which means there's a few quirks here or there, like my tablet now not like automatically having its software on startup properly configured. Before you ask, yes, I have indeed reinstalled my tablet driver, but there seems to be some issue with the PC that I'm not sure about. But oh well, what can you do? I don't think it's a big issue if I just, like, you know, I just need to briefly press the Windows key and, you know, just open the program that, like, I pinned and everything, so, like, it's okay. The first thing I gotta do is find my old reference of the eyes, because I need to make sure that, like, my shading stays consistent, because I know I like to do the pretty sparkly eye thing. Yeah, I like to do that a lot. And the shading of the eyes is obviously a bit different, because these are eye close-ups, so they gotta be eye candy, so yeah. Alright, so since we got the basic shadows down, let's do the usual, and start working on, like, the... I don't know what to call them. The fancy, I don't know, these thingies. It's just my art style. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I could make each and every single one individual, but I feel like it would also kind of break the symmetry of everything. I'll just make them symmetrical. I like symmetry a lot. Let's see here. So far, I like this zigzaggy Z shape. I am a big fan of Z shapes. But I feel like we could make something cooler. I'm kind of thinking about snowflake patterns again or something. I'm not sure, though, if it'll look good, so let's just experiment. That's what I stream for. It's to just stare at art. What do I make it like this for him? I feel like this could be, like, an awesome way to just, like, add a bit more to a snowflake theming and whatever. I felt a bit nostalgic, so I put on some Minecraft OST. Because I just really like Minecraft's OST. I have nothing against the new OST, but it kind of doesn't feel Minecraft-y, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't fit the atmosphere that C418 made way back when for a soundtrack, I feel. It kind of loses this, like, loneliness that you would, like, kind of expect to hear from the Minecraft soundtrack when you have, like, grown up with the game. It feels a bit alien, if that makes sense. I actually quite like this. I actually quite like this. You put on the saturation, not the saturation, opacity. Oh yeah, that could totally work. Oh yeah, I can see this looking good. At least to me, to myself. Right on then. Let me continue. Once again, I have nothing particularly against the new composer for Minecraft. I don't know her name. I forgot it, unfortunately, because I remember, like, artist names better than, like, real-life names. But, yeah, I have nothing against Pigstep and songs like that. They're pretty cool. But again, I feel they kind of don't fit Minecraft's atmosphere. I'll just be for you. It's fun if somebody else likes them, but I personally just like listening to, like, the one from 10 years ago that you can see here. Another weird quirk of this PC is that, like, hovering over things, kind of just, like, continues staying. My dad's computer has a lot of quirks that, like, I've yet to figure out on how to fix them. That, like, my old PC didn't have. My PC of, 13 years. Yeah, that old fart finally retired. It's been 13 years of use! He's done his service, but now he can finally rest and stop being bothered by, my tens of dozens of art projects that I keep starting and never finishing. Well, not today. Today we are finishing art. Today we are. Yes, sir. I like to evolve a bit more, so I think I'll just continue not, like, making, like, a radial pattern. I think I'll just continue making the snowflakey, I don't know what to call them, cross patterns? We'll figure something out. Point being, though, today is a chill day. I don't want to stress myself too much, and I don't want to overthink it while drawing these eyes. The whole point of art is to have fun, even though lately I've not been having fun. I've been having burnout, admittedly, but I'm trying to handle it. I'm trying to do my best to handle it, and I'm doing my best to be as social as possible, even though, like, lately my brain's been not feeling it. Oh yeah, I think this one also enhances it quite a bit. I'm glad I chose the snowflake method. I think that it enhances his eyes so well. Yeah, you're like, from a glance, you can't exactly tell from afar what it's meant to be, but the moment you zoom in, it looks gorgeous. I like it. I like it a lot. Right, so what if we give him a bit more like disjointed ones here for like his older eyes? That could look interesting. Maybe has like a few longer, shorter bristles in between that. Long, short, long, short, long. There we go. There you go. Nice subtleties. I know that, like, I feel like I overdo it with my eyes sometimes, but where's the fun in making normal eyes, you know? I feel like it's kind of necessary for my style having, like, some sort of pizzazz, at least in the eyes. Like, my style might be a bit overkill, but at the same time, what isn't overkill with me? I make everything dramatic. I make everything look incredibly, I don't know, theater child-like. I have a bit of a rambunctious habit of making everything chaotic that I touch. In my family, I'm not known as, like, Midas with the gold touch. I'm known as, like, I don't know, the chaotic gremlin with, like, the destruction touch. Anything I touch, I somehow destroy or break on accident. Because that's literally the most truest thing anyone can say about me. I don't even know how I obtained this talent of just breaking everything and, like, just having this, like, destructive habit of being too careless with something on accident. I definitely don't have gentle hands. And I can be glad that my workplace sometimes requires that, like, I don't have said, soft hands or something. Because, some machinery at my work is, like, so old that you kind of have to, like, TF2 engineer it by hitting it, and suddenly it works. I don't know why hitting things just works magically, and I have lately seen a YouTube, video in my recommendation that literally is about explaining that, so I might get back to it. Maybe. Maybe. Lately, I've been just, like, watching the same content again and again, like I usually do, every year at this point. So, yeah. What could I do for, like, the angry eyes? I kind of want to do something special for them, kind of. But I have to think about, like, how I could best, like, add some, like, interesting shapes to the eyes to, like, an angry person. Because it'd be mostly triangles, but, like, triangles is kind of my default. As you can tell, I really like triangles. I like triangles a lot. I think, like, yeah, basically almost every single eye here has, like, triangles or, like, lines or something that isn't, like, round. I think only Marco here actually has, like, the circle patterns. I think I'll just go with triangle then. If it works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the golden rule that, like, basically every corporation screws up on it today, nowadays, lately, whatever the word is, for recent times. Right, from afar, would that work? No, I don't think so. I think if I make the lines a bit more crispier, this could look good, though. Also, as an FYI, I got approximately 2 hours, to, like, work on this. And if I still won't finish in 2 hours, which is very likely, because, these eye references take me a good few hours if I, like, put full effort into them. There's a good chance I'll finish them offline, but yeah, I am basically finishing these up today, I would argue. Maybe I just add another one here. Yeah, I think that looks nice. I'll just add some random lines here as well. Yeah, okay, that's double. That's double. I'm okay with that, even though, like, snowflakes kind of don't fit an angry look. I still like it, and it still is kind of like a Soren thing. Right. One thing I plan to mitigate in this stream is to explain character lore, because last time I failed to do so because I kept getting distracted by other topics that I wanted to talk about. I am very passionate about a lot of topics, I notice whenever I stream, to the point I just forget how to talk about different topics and I keep sitting on the same ones. Now, I'll be for real, I don't know how to talk like a normal human being, so I just talk what's on my mind, obviously. If nobody could tell, but I'm pretty sure everyone can tell that I'm neurodivergent as hell. But still, I would like to just focus a bit more on staying on topic, obviously, but also not, like, meandering too long on the same thing, because it can get really boring, you know? There's people like me who enjoy when people meander on and on about the same topic that's, like, interesting and important. But, not everyone likes that. And I know you can't please everyone in this life, but it would be nice to kind of strike a balance between your audience being interested and not being bored. It is my goal to be as entertaining as possible whenever I stream, but I do know at the same time that, like, I'm not an entertainer person. I'm kind of just, like, very introverted, you could say. I don't know how else to describe myself other than, like, I don't like to talk that much, whenever I'm not, like, kind of doing this, like, weird, like, pretend thing, which is, I guess, some form of masking, but I digress. I'm not here to psychoanalyze myself for, like, the millionth time, like I usually do. Right, I gave him a very soft look to, like, whatever eye textures I gave him. Doggy, you might get some circles in your eyes. You might get some circles. How about we try some ovals, because, like, he does have ovals in his character shapes. Let's see here. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. We'll see, we'll see. Plus, it would also kind of fit if these circles look like caustics, because, the guy's a sailor and stuff. He likes to fish. I'm pretty sure fish would absolutely hate this man if they could talk. I could make them talk if I wanted to, but I feel like that's a bit of, like, a existential horror situation that I wouldn't want to wish upon my characters. Unless I make, like, a April Fool's AU or something where they do live in a world full of talking fish. But at the same time, do I want to subject my characters to that type of horror? I don't know. Point being, though, it would be very funny if I did. Maybe I'll think about it for next year, because this year I had zero energy to do anything for April Fools. There we go. What if I just, like, slightly connect it over to here? Give it, again, a softer look instead of, like, having these harsh corners and stuff. Oh yeah, this one. This one is a mysterious one. I've always wondered about this one. Which one was that? That was 15 minutes in. It's Oxygen. That is one track that always creeped me out as a kid when I was playing. For context, I guess, I can also give a bit of a Minecraft lore, I guess. When I was a child, the only reason why I play Minecraft is to mainly build roller coasters. And I'm not even kidding. I would create a flat world, I would try to find villages. Most of the time I would pick the sandstone world because I like the flat, smooth rock texture. It is satisfying to my brain, so I always like pick that one. Sometimes I made a quartz worlds, whatever. But yeah, point being, flat worlds, villages on, structures on, stuff like that. 4 blocks sometimes on accident because I was stupid and often forgot to turn off that thingy that like, you know, like gives you like a full terrain. And like cave generation despite a flat world. I don't remember what the setting was called, but I think most like older Minecraft players will get what I'm talking about. But yeah. The main thing I would do, build a bunch of railing systems, just spend hours connecting one rail to another, completely vanilla, without mods. And I would create like entire terrain systems. I would write like books about lore about these train systems and whatever, and then, God, I would spend hours just after school working on these like interrail systems across these like tiny worlds that I would play like for months on. I was obsessed with just specifically building tracks, connecting villages, and giving the tracks glass tunnels to make it look cool and make it like underground tunnels if I felt like daring enough, because I was very scared of like going underground in this game without creative mode. I remember when I played like Minecraft for like the first time, and I started like spawning a bunch of monsters and mobs and whatever. Mobs and animals, God. I keep confusing games lately. My apologies. Terminology weakness. But yeah, essentially, whenever it was like spawning spawn eggs, I was like, oh, that's so cool! There's like different animals in this game. There's like a weird little fish thing that looks like a wolf. There's dogs in this game. There's cats in this game. Oh my god. And the thing is, I was still in creative mode, so obviously the animals didn't interact with me mostly. I could, you know, tame the animals and whatever that like were tameable and stuff. But things like me not realizing, for example, how to tame cats was such an issue that I just put them in like glass pane cages or something. I don't remember exactly if 1.5 had like dyed glass. I don't think so. I think it just had default like glass panes. But yeah, I started playing also at 1.5.2. If anyone's just curious, I've been playing Minecraft for a long time. But yeah. Essentially, the most interesting part about what I'm trying to retell here is, the moment I spawned a creeper egg, and I was like, oh my god, they're so adorable! And I was like, you know, like fawning and stuff, and it's a cute little creature! And when I wanted to approach it in survival mode, because, like, I was curious what, you know, certain creatures react to when you're in survival mode, the creeper obviously blew up! And I started crying! And I was scared shitless when the Enderman, you know, like, also got aggressive because, like, I accidentally hit it and stuff. Like, God, that was a terrifying experience to me as a kid. Because I played this game primarily for building stuff. And suddenly when, like, I expand by, you know, like, summoning mobs and stuff, I get the shock of my life by getting blown up by a creeper. I think my first death was actually being blown up by that creeper in the game. But yeah, needless to say, I was so scared as a child that I, for years, did not play survival. Instead, one of the things I did also in like 1.7 or something, like right before like it got patched and stuff, that you could equip zombies with armor, I would just create entire facilities where I would just put armor on zombies, enchant the armor, give it names, give lore about the zombie warriors that I would send out to villages to destroy them. There are only 2 types of Minecraft players. The ones who enslave and destroy villages, and the others who take care of them. In this case, I am both types. Yeah, so that was also a very interesting time, until it was patched down to 1.8, and all my zombie factories were basically obsolete and broken. And I was really mad about that. But I did know how to revert back to other versions, so I kind of just let it be. But yeah, I did a lot of things in Minecraft that, like, I guess most people didn't play the game for, I would argue. Like, creating zombie armies, and, just making a bunch of roller coasters, and, like, putting pigs in the minecarts and whatever. It was a very interesting time for me as a kid to discover, sandbox games. I wish I had Terraria as a child. I would have loved the game to bits as well. And maybe I would have been better at the game nowadays if I had it sooner, but, you know, it costs money. In Minecraft, it was just kind of piratable, you could say. I don't know what to do for the eyes for Alvilda. I did like the pattern with, like, the thing I did just a few minutes ago, but it felt a bit too much like a drow. The thing is, obviously I did create, you know, Soren's entire family based on drows. I just, like, slightly, you know, like, fiddle around with, like, the homebrew stuff and whatever that my DM made up. But I still wanted kind of, like, that slightly elvish vibe, because there isn't elf-like creatures that, like, is in our homebrew setting. So, you know, I just kind of clashed it together with Drems, because I was like, that would make for a great elf aesthetic, though. And, I mean, it's true. It did turn out to be, like, a very effective aesthetic, at least to myself. I like it quite a lot. And my DM actually, as a fun fact, he was like, oh, yeah, I actually like what you did with the, like, the pointy ears and stuff. And I was like, oh, really? I just took that basically from elves, from, like, normal D&D. I'm not very creative, I would argue. I just like taking things from other things, and just, like, you know, like, slapping them together. Creating something, like, interesting or something unique with, like, the things that I can do. Whenever I have limitations, I tend to get a bit creative with how I can, like, kind of, like, modify the limitations or, like, mold them to, like, make it my own thing, if that makes sense. You know what? I think I'll take these. They're not bad. A bit too much A, though. Like, you can kind of read out the pattern. I just add a few more, like, betweens. So it, like, it doesn't look like I've just added a bunch of A's into her eyes. Could you call them eyes then? Like, I? Okay, I'll stop. I swear. Okay. So we got this. Next, just, put them somewhere close by. Not completely too close, though. Yeah, that works. Okay, and then we got eye shapes for our beloved Alvi. There we go. I think I'll make this a bit, thicker. There we go. Okay. Nice. Right, so I got the basic shapes. I could already start with the confetti, but, like, the confetti part always is a bit more, like, I shoved that part a bit more to the, like, last steps of whenever I draw eyes, but, the next thing is, like, I could add more highlights, of course. I like adding a lot of highlights to eyes. Let me just take a casual glance, because I keep forgetting how I have drawn eyes in the first place. I know that, like, I add circle highlights because I like those a lot, but I do accentuate the conical nature of an eye. Okay. Alright. Let's add, like, a simple highlight, then. What was the name of this track again? I really liked this one as a kid. Nowadays I have, like, a bigger favorite, but this one... Which one was it? Was it Wet Hands? No, Wet Hands is a different one. Isn't this Sweden? 25? No, it's Clark. Okay, so that solves it. Clark was my childhood favorite. I really like Clark. Nowadays it's a Subwoofer Melody, I think, is its name. But yeah, we'll find out if we get to the track. I always remember Minecraft songs by like their melodies, but I can never remember their titles. I'm unfortunately not that good at catching things like that. Song titles and like band names, biggest weakness of mine. I can never recall them properly. I can immediately don't tell you. I recognize the song if I hear it. My brain just kind of works in a different wavelength. That wavelength being so slow that like it doesn't catch up in conversations. Okay, make this pink instead. I would feel like that would look better. I mean, not bad, but then it feels a little too much pink, actually. What if orange? Yeah, I think orange looks better. Looks a bit more fiery. I like that. Right, woman. You get some orange too, then. Oh yeah, nice color. And move. Flip and move. One thing that I'm very curious, though, is when I'll end the stream, how it looks like, when, like, it's finished. So I can see, if the new computer, like, renders videos still, like, the normal way, like my old PC did. Because, once again, now that I have my father's PC, there's a lot different about a lot of settings and stuff I had to adjust to make sure that the PC is, you know, like, functional and stuff. But yeah. So far, though, like, the PC works great, except for Baldur's Gate. I don't know what went wrong there, but apparently a lot of people with like, modern graphics cards have actually a lot more issues with this game. Like, with my old, like, you know, like, 12 gig RAM graphics card, the game was running really choppily, but it was consistent, and there were no crashes. But, now that, like, I have my dad's computer with, like, his AMD Ryzen 5000 whatever thingy, it crashes at around 20 minutes of when you open the game, which is very interesting. I've never experienced something like a good graphics card crashing a game, instead of, like, the bad graphics cards I've had in my life. I've had a lot of graphics cards, because, you know, like, my dad always gave me hand-me-downs, because we couldn't, like, afford to just up and buy a new one. So when my dad bought a new PC part, I got his old ones, which is how my PC, like, gradually got better, like, every 5 years or so. But, yeah. Just, it was really curious, because, me and my friend, we were, like, really confused on, why the game kept crashing, even though, like, the temperature on the graphics card is fine, the PSU cable is completely new, the PSU system is an 850 watt platinum. Like, everything is, like, done right on this PC. Like, my dad can build PCs pretty well, I would argue, whenever there isn't, like, the electricity in our house kind of getting in the way, because it's, like, an older home, where, like, you know, our apartment is in. We're basically stuck here, you know? At least, not me. I plan to move out. Again. Okay, 1 second. It's a bit too warm right now. I'll just take off my jacket. Jesus. Okay, there we go. And back to work. Don't mind the squeaky chair. My bad. Right. Where was I? Computer parts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember though specifically what I was talking about when it comes to computer parts. Right, bolt gate. But yeah. Sorry about that. Allergy coughing. Yeah. Essentially, I really don't know what is, like, going wrong with, like, the new graphics card in terms of, like, just specifically Baldur's Gate. All the other, programs, they work like a charm with, like, the new RAM upgrade, basically. My editing program should now be able to, like, handle rendering videos much better. And also my animation program should render much, much faster. And I can finally, like, set things to, like, render on GPU for Blender, basically. Which is also a huge W, because CPU rendering took so long. It took really long. Okay. Got the basic highlights. Right. I could expand by, giving the pupils also some, depth. go. Yes, okay, good. Right. I set this layer on difference always, didn't I? Whenever I was doing stuff like that with the pupil. I don't remember exactly. Let's see, here's like, this is the color on difference. Exclude, it was not exclude, it was not subtract, it was not divide. Then it had to be difference. Okay. I wish I could have the file open right now, so that like I could inspect what layer mode I turned on for this, because I did have a specific layer mode to like, make the eyes have like this, I don't know what to call it, contrast effect. I just liked putting the like complementary color on top of the pupil. But I did it with a layer setting. But I don't remember it, so I guess we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Because I like giving eyes a bit of an interesting flair to them by just like adding that as well. I just like messing around with eyes, you could argue. Also, ever since I added these lace thingies, it's been really handy just directing a specific complementary color. I'm glad like I customized my program a bit, specifically for the color wheel, so that it can work properly. In terms of because I always I approximately get the color right, but it bothers my brain whenever I don't like have the proper color on the spot, you know? So it's always been a bit bothersome whenever I didn't have it. Wait just a second, I have an idea, because, you know, below he's got, like, the red eyes coming through. What if I just put part of some red into, like, the pupil, just for fun? Right, that needs to be blue with the Slayer setting, like that, yeah. In case you're wondering why I like specifically do this on like this layer, it's for like that interesting little, you see this little middle part that's like slightly orange or brown? You don't get this on a normal layer. If I were to just, you know, manually, you know, adjust it to like a red color and stuff, you just get red. But if I turn on a layer mode, it just kind of adds like this extra color to it that I like. It's just very endearing. I don't know what it is, but I like when it like kind of adjusts the color and adds like this gradient to it naturally. Because a lot of my art is just about adding gradients to everything. A lot of my strategy is just adding gradients until I like it. I mean, it obviously works, so I can't complain. There we go. Plus, most of the time, once again, people don't tend to zoom into my drawings. People just kind of look at the drawings at face value, and they're like, oh, yeah, that looks cool, I guess. But they don't exactly, like, you know, zoom into details, look at everything carefully, like, to the pixel like I do. I like to really zoom into people's works. So one of my pet peeves is always when, like, on DeviantArt, someone sets their, like, image to, like, some small canvas size, because obviously, you know, like, they do it to prevent, art theft, so that, like, they don't have the high-quality image. I do understand that. But it also frustrates me as a person who likes to take a closer look at people's art. I like to really zoom in, and, you know, like, really breathe in the art. I want to see every detail, every morsel, every stroke you put down. And I can't see it if it's, like, a 2.5 MB quality JPEG. Or something like that. Actually, it'd be even less. It'd be like, I don't know, 500 kilobytes due to it being a JPEG. But yeah, just a small pet peeve I have as an artist personally. Do I make this red? Do I make this blue? I think I'll make it red and blue because I feel like it. We make this part red. We make this part blue. Well, it's not exactly like a specific blue, it's just a kind of shade of teal, to be fair. But it's still for me in the blue spectrum. I wouldn't call this the green spectrum anymore. Right, this one's a bit darker than this one. Can I just make them darker anyway, though? Yeah, I think it looks better like that. Maybe I just Just see if it like looks better with like a slightly pinkish hue. Yeah, I actually prefer it kind of like that. Let me just... Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous colors. But they're staying on their difference mode because I want the eyes to look funky. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. So Dakiel's eyes are a bit more purplish. The contrast in color would be somewhere up here, between the heart, somewhere in this corner. Yeah, like that. That's a bit more specific. Yep. Okay. And sesame. At shading moment. Oh, I like the slight purple gradient it also adds. My goodness, this layer mode is awesome. I like it so much. Right, we still have, once again, red for the blue lady. Well, she's still also a bit more purple, but... Technicalities beyond my comprehension. Let's just make it this green. I always like how it looks a bit derpy whenever you do something with symmetry tools. It really is a trusted process whenever you do anything with symmetry tools, though. At least that's my experience with them. I'm not the biggest fan of symmetry tools. Only use them out of necessity, and specifically only necessity. Okay. Oh, yeah, right. I need to turn off my ruler for this. I keep forgetting. Off you go. Just slightly clean those up. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Right, we can ever so slightly decrease the intensity of these, let's say. I don't want them to, like, just take over the entire drawing by being a contrast color, to be fair. I just want them to have a bit of, like, a focus point, if that makes sense. Because, you know, the eye gravitates toward anything that contrasts it. So, like, I think it's a small little trick to, like, put attention to the pupils, even though, like, most of the time, pupils are a bit of a boring kind of thing. At least, that's how I see it. Right, let me continue. Because I need to, yeah, I need to make these also, like, a dark purplish. There we go. See how cool this is? I like this layer mode a lot. It just modifies everything you do. It's just awesome. I love layer modes like that. I love messing around with layer modes so much, dude. Yeah. One second. I need to, like, kind of, make my brain focus because it's kind of losing focus if I won't, like, tell myself what to do. Like that. Yes. I mean, for the pupils, this color is completely fine, but it's a bit too dark for the irises, though. I'm not a fan of it being the iris color like that. A bit too dark. A bit. Keep it saturated. I think this color is fine. This color looks very fine, actually. Yeah. I'll keep it on those above. I'll add a slight tinge of purple to the one here down below a bit. There we go. I think it looks better just with purple on the one below. Right, so we got like basically dark purple here would be not too bad, like a fuchsia. Yeah, not dark pink. Dark pink would look a bit bad in my opinion, but like the fuchsia could work. The fuchsia could work. The blue actually kind of fits here, I would say, unless I want it to be like a bright lighter color. But I don't know. The dark's kind of appealing to me for these eyes, I would say, but they do stay. They do like kind of they're a bit too poignant, I would say. I would prefer to be a bit more brighter, so like you focus more on the vibrancy of the eyes instead of like the contrast of the eyes, if that makes sense. Alright, I need to first select it and then deselect it. There we go. Yeah. That's more what I want. That's more what I want. I want the vibrancy in these eyes. It's like, they should look very lively. Let me just zoom out again. Right, because like on the other ones, the bold lines are kind of fine. For this one, they're meant to look a bit more ghastly. That's intentional. For the 60s one, I feel like I could also brighten them up a bit. But for these, they look just much nicer from afar if they have like vibrant line art instead of like the overkill of like the darkness and the other contrasting lighter colors and whatever. Also, just in advance, an apology if I like sound very unclear today. It's just allergies specifically. It clogs up my throat and it kind of tightens it to a point it's a bit hard to talk. Like, clearly, I would need to like take deep breaths, and if there's one thing I hate, it's the sound of like heavy breathing. It makes me very uncomfortable, and I would prefer to not breathe into like the mic, all intense and stuff. I feel like it would make other people uncomfortable as well if I did that. So I'm doing like my best to prevent from like taking like very deep sighs. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of necessary if I want to speak a bit more slower. A lot of people tell me like, you're not quiet, you're just too fast lately. Because at first people had problems with me because I was talking too quiet. But now that I am capable of like speaking louder, because like my workplace kind of taught me how to scream. Because for years, you know, my parents would like yell at me to not yell at them. Even though they have never heard me yell at them before. I've never actually screamed at my parents ever before. I was always close to, but I've always, you know, kept restrained from like screaming at them. But they think that I'm screaming. Which is something I'll never understand. Why do they think I'm screaming? I don't know. I couldn't explain to anybody why they think that anyway, because like people are like, what? You're screaming? Right now? When like I tell them, oh sorry, I'm being a bit too loud. My parents tell me that I'm always a bit too loud. But then I have to like awkwardly explain to them how like my parents think I'm yelling when I don't even know where to explain or like how to explain myself, because obviously I don't know why they think I'm yelling when I just talk to them in a normal volume. It's just one of those like weird family quirks, you could say, that I will never understand. I need to also keep in mind that I need to like slightly stay away from the pupils. I want them to look darker, unlike the younger versions. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Good. Now there is like a center of attention with like the darker pupils. Good. Thinking purple, thinking purple. I'm thinking purple. Right, I put on alpha lock, turn it off. Ah, right. I keep forgetting that I can't always color in stuff with my mouse, because I have this tendency to, whenever I'm in a coloring stage, in like coloring something in my art, I always like gravitate toward just doing it with my mouse, instead of like coloring with my tablet pen. I don't like coloring it with my tablet pen, if that makes sense. I kind of prefer doing it with my mouse. Which is one of those like weird quirks of mine, I guess, again, that I can't explain myself. Listen, I would argue that just my family's a bunch of weirdos, which is why I can't explain a lot of things about myself. Because just I grew up around just like a bunch of weird people. And it's just the norm for me to be weird, I guess. That could very much be it, though, to be fair. Let me also slightly, yeah, like that. They're not supposed to, like, stand out heavily. They're just supposed to, like, just accentuate the shading that I will add around the irises in a bit. Stop getting tangled here. Thank you! Okay, there we go. Just a slight bit. That's a bit too much again. Can I have, like, a middle ground over here? Yeah. That's a bit better. I like that a bit more. Okay, there we go. Over to you, woman. Does the purple I used right now actually kind of fit? A bit darker. Yeah, that could work. That could work. It looks better with darker line art. Okay, good, good. Let me just slightly add some pinkishness to this over here. Maybe actually a bit more of like a brighter color. Yeah. I think this brighter shade is actually a bit better. Oh wait, that's my flat brush, it's not my blur brush. Okay, yeah. Okay. And now we got some bases for the pupils too. Okay, good, there we go. That's the layer. Good. Right. So one thing once again I plan to do is just yap about character lore. I'll do my best not to get distracted by things. If I might need to like focus briefly to like finish a step that I like my brain just randomly freshly forgot, then I apologize. But yeah. So like from all the other streams, I think you picked up on the character's name being Soren, at least. If not, his name is Soren Silver. And if I accidentally said it too fast, let me try to say it a bit slower. Soren Silver. There we go. Soren Silver. I need to speak slower, my goodness. But, yeah. So, he was born to a family of two, quote-unquote rich people, you could argue. Because, his dad married, his, like, rich mom. How did his, mom get a bunch of wealth? Simple. Participating in the military at the time. She was a warlordess for 2 years. But she eventually left the military because, all the, like, fighting and all the war was kind of getting a bit to her head. And it, like, started to actually kind of traumatize her. To the point she didn't really want to participate anymore. And she started to actually question her own morals and the morals of what the military exactly is doing to, you know, like, its, rivaling countries. Now, my, DM has, you know, obviously a fantasy setting, so it's not based on real countries. It's just, primarily a war between two fictional countries. One's called Kelton, the other is called Brontwork. And she primarily participated in the Brontwork-Kelton War. And she was a commander. She specifically had a few troops she had to lead into war, and, you know, like, take care of them. I'm not sure if, like, I'm still, like, on the fence about it. Because, I still actively develop the stories, even a few months later. But, I was thinking either, you know, like, either she was, like, in some extremities of the scale, if that makes sense. I don't think so. Let me rephrase. On, like, a spectrum of extremity, I would feel, I'm either gonna go with the route that either soldiers actually did cherish her and loved her, because, you know, she obviously cared a lot, or, they hated her because she cared too much. But yeah, that's something for me to, like, figure out what I feel like is the better route to, like, write a more realistic depiction of, like, how soldiers would treat their commander. Because I know that, like, IRL commanders, they're either like you either like them or you don't, but you have to endure them type of situation. Because there can be like cruel ones, and there can be like ones that actually have like understanding despite being strict. There's like a certain spectrum to that whole thing, but I'm getting distracted. I just really like researching about military stuff. I'll get back to the point. Sorry. It's hard to stay on topic. But yeah. So, you know, once she left the war, she built a mansion. The money she took with her was specifically hush money, so that, you know, like, she would be quiet about details about the war to not only, like, other people, but other, you know, like, countries, residents, whatever. Just to make sure that Avilde would stay quiet about, you know, not only the things she's done in her time, but also, you know, the plans that never went through, or plans she was supposed to lead, but, like, she declined and whatever. Yes, I know that, like, commanders cannot really, like, decline plans and stuff, but once again, I'm, like, I have, like, vague, setups for that. I need to put some more research into militaries and stuff to just make sure that, like, they have some parallels to IRL, instead of just being, like, a fictional story. I want it to feel like a real story, but yeah. You get my point at this point. So yeah, left, got hush money. And she met her husband through, you know, just him being a lost little idiot. So yeah, he appeared at her doorstep when her mansion was eventually built. And the thing is, they did get together for, like a few months later. Before that though, Avila was busy, with like, a very curious item. Her sword. I'll get back to it in a bit, but you can keep in mind that there was like a very important sword that at the time she had encased when, you know, she met her husband. So months go by, they like get closer and closer, and you know, Avila, before she met Daniel, she also made sure to build a library. She wanted to like kind of give back to like the village she just kind of found herself in. You know, like she didn't used to live in Ulvisfjell. To her, it's not her birthplace. She escaped to this town. Not only as a soldier, but now as like a retired soldier. And it really depends on the resident, but either they know her or they don't. And all that reputation would cause a bit of a fuss, but despite everything, Dagil, he would still want to, you know, hang around with her, talk to her, even though most people, you know, like, were like, she's a bit of like a hag, don't talk to her. She can be really evil, she can be really nasty to you if you, like, meet her on the wrong foot. But, that's the whole caveat. Avila liked Dagil, so obviously, he was treated nicely. And, you know, as like an optimist, he's like, yeah, whatever. Woman is great, I don't know what y'all are talking about. You know what, she feels like wife material, actually. So, yeah. I forgot. God damn it. That's what I get for getting lost in the story. Goodness, allergy cough. My bad. Okay, there we go. Right, what was my line art later? That I was working on here. Yeah, good. Okay. So, to continue. Now that I got my focus back. Oh, that's my favorite one. What's this one? 53. Yeah, area math. My favorite has become area math nowadays. Not related to the story, just a Minecraft soundtrack. Right, back to story, though. I'm doing my best, I'm trying, y'all, I'm trying. So we currently are at the... yeah, we're currently at the problem of like, oh yeah, actually I kinda like this woman. But, what happened is, it's not him who, like, you know, like, asked for a date or anything. Instead, Alvida is the one who, like, kind of initiated, and, you know, like, she showed interest, she liked him a lot. And one day, she just, like, boldly asked, like, yo, do you want to marry me? And he's like, oh my god, of course! I actually had, like, thoughts about it. Oh, look at that! Isn't that great? So yeah, they actually did get married. There's some new story ideas I had lately, I guess just as a fun fact, about related to if one of Dagil's friends he made, they'll eventually like maybe like mention to Soren one day that, you know, like they were at like their marriage thingy and whatever. I don't know what to call it. Marriage meeting? You know, the wedding, there we go. Words in English. Okay. So, embarrassment aside, and like, I keep forgetting English words lately, and then like, I suck at talking. We now have two married idiots, and, you know, the current decision is like, okay, so, how about we just like, get a child? You know, Avila goes, absolutely not. The main reason why, she has like, a bit of a history with like, a really bad, family. Her family wasn't exactly, very normal. It was like a very traditional family with very traditional values, with very traditional rituals to, you know, make sure that something nefarious doesn't happen. Time to get into a sword. You see, the sword is kind of important to mention because basically everyone who like knew Alvirda and was a bit too close to her, they would be eventually affected by that curse, right? What is this curse you speak of? The curse is essentially regarding, it's gonna cause very, let's just say, mind-shattering memories to happen. From, like, her ancestors. Oh, that's fun. It's some ancestor bullshit. So yeah. Anyone who basically comes across the sword and, you know, in some shape or form interacts with it might experience, these, like, illusions and these, flashbacks to past memories of those ancestors also participating in wars. Oh, fun! It's generational trauma! So, yeah. There's this big problem of, like, you know, like, this guy obviously wants a kid, but I struggle with this random curse that I didn't know about because my family didn't tell me. Because Alvilda fled. That woman fled from her family. Because she understood the assignment, she understood what her family's doing is not healthy, and that, you know, like, she needs to get the hell out of there. Because anyone who's not worthy of the sword, they essentially get disbanded from the family. The Sooth family, they put great emphasis on their name and their titles. It's a generation of fighters and warriors. So, if you dare muddle that name, the family will go after you personally. And that's exactly the issue. Because, that curse is family connected. So, you can imagine it's a bit of a problem when suddenly your husband wants a child. But, like, you're worried that you're gonna ruin that child's future by just being tied to that curse that you also suffer under. Because you stole that goddamn sword! She was not meant to have that sword that she took with her. She stole it because it was family heirloom. And she had nothing, absolutely nothing to her name to flee with. So she took the one thing that the family put a lot of emphasis and effort on, out of spite. Because Alvilda is not a good woman. I like writing problematic characters. But yeah. Despite everything, she still came and she's like, God, fine, okay, let's have a kid. Yippee! You know? So, yeah. That's how Soren came to be, with, like, a lot of backstory regarding on, why he probably shouldn't exist. Oof. Very tough situation for Soren. So, yeah. The child is born. But, you know what isn't born? Maternal instincts. Since, you know, Alvilda was raised in a very problematic family, so once again, kind of didn't really treat you humanely. Treated you more like we're just born to fight everyone that, like, is in your way, and especially if it's, like, someone in your family's way. So, you know, like, kind of like a hive mind. There is this issue now, because, you kind of don't know how to raise your child. So, yeah, to just, keep it brief, essentially, Soren was, kinda abused as a child for a bit. I won't get too far into it, because, I'm not sure if someone is, like, comfortable, like, listening to whatever I'll be talking about, without, like, a content warning and stuff. Because, you know, on Toy House, I have content warnings about my stories, and, you know, one of the warnings, in that story for, like, Soren stuff, specifically, is, like, child abuse and stuff. So yeah, I'll just keep it brief. Yeah, he didn't have, like, the best childhood because Alvilda kind of, like, struggled with, you know, obviously, adjusting to the fact that now she has to raise her own son, instead of, like, disciplining him. Because she didn't really understand how to love herself, and not understanding how to love your own son is even more devastating, because she was aware that she was failing as a mother, but she wasn't aware on how to fix it. But here comes Dagil with a very promising offer. Right, so what I agreed upon is that for a week, Dagil will take Soren out for a bit, you know, just do some activities with him. And for a week, he'll also only stay with Alvilda. And they'll make a bet about it over, whether he'll prefer to stay with Alvilda or whether with him. And if he wins, he's gonna be the one in charge of teaching her how to raise him, instead of it being the other way around. You know, so Alvilda's like, okay, fine. I think this is pretty stupid because nothing will change, but whatever. I'll let you handle this if you do win. So yeah, despite reluctancy, she agrees. And, you know, in that week, there's a moment where, obviously, Soren gets to have a fun time with his dad, and there's a week where he gets very nervous and very stuffy around his mom. Very uncomfortable. Because, the big difference between the two parenting styles is, one guy prefers to teach Soren about the fun wonders of the world, with a lot of fun in mind, and, the other, essentially, she just, like, teaches him how to take care of a library. It's just basically a job for a kid. So, yeah, it's very obvious, and, you know, like, in that week, obviously, Soren prefers to spend it with Daniel, and he asks if he can spend it with him again, instead of Alvilda. So, silently, there's just this stupid grin on Daniel's face, whilst Alvilda, just in defeat, is floored that, you know, her son prefers to stay with her dad. What is this tomfoolery? Isn't it usually the son stays with the mother? No, very wrong, Alvilda. So, yeah. At least with, like, the rough start in childhood, the older he got, the more he managed to, not only come to terms with the fact of what happened way back when, at the same time, you know, Alvilda through that grew with experience because, you know, her dad took the helm on, like, trying to raise Soren, like, in a more passive way, and not only that, but teaching Alvilda how to, like, properly raise him, and, you know, how to do it lovingly. Partially, it's also, you know, teaching her how to love herself. And many things that, like, she missed out on that, like, wasn't taught to her. Because, unlike Alvilda, Daniel had a very loving and functioning family. So, you know, it's a situation of, I can fix her! And he actually did it, that son of a gun. He actually fixed her. with a lot of problems, obviously, in their path, but, you know. Now that, like, Soren is, like, in his 20s and older, essentially he gets approached, you know, by his mom. It's like, okay, son, it's time you inherit my literal library. I'm gonna prepare you as long as I can, so that you can take it over with no problem. And, you know, the first thing you hear is like, Mom, but I don't want to. You have no choice. Sigh, okay, fine. Because Soren just caves like that. But yeah, so from 20s onward, instead of just like talking about his childhood primarily, being a bit, difficult, he did manage to grasp the basics, and he started to finally, like, understand some basics about, Rookie, too. Basically, the homebrew magic system of my DM. It's a very fun system, I really like it. But I won't get too much into it, because I feel like I would get lost in trying to explain things that, like, I can't explain too much on, because, you know, our group is only finding out more things about the magic system, late than ever. Words? Hold on. The sentence is not sentencing. I need to rephrase. Yeah, so our group is, like, you know, like, just only now discovering, like, more basics about the magic system, intentionally. Like, our DM keeps the information very vague, so that, like, we can find out naturally through just, like, you know, exploring and, like, fighting and whatever, to, like, understand more about the magic system of the world. So, like, it's kept vague to us on purpose. So, I couldn't even explain that much if I wanted to. But, yeah. I think you kind of get the gist of, like, okay, he's, like, starting to get, like, good at stuff, right? So, yeah. Now we're in a situation where we're now in his 20s. Now in his 40s, he's trying to, like, kind of get a bit better with, like, his whole magic and stuff. Not the best, though. Alvilda still has her tendencies with, outbursts, and she still can be a bit cranky. Especially when it comes to Soren failing on some form of spell that he doesn't understand, that Alvilda's trying to teach him. But it's slowly coming along. And, you know, unlike in their childhood where, like, their parent-child dynamic was basically just, oh god, I fear this woman. If I mess it up, I will literally, like, I don't know, never see the sunlight anymore. It's like a exaggerated example because I don't like being too serious about retelling character stories. But yeah. Now we're at a point where in his 30s, he at least has reached an acceptable degree of like being able to handle magic that he was taught, which is specifically a type of healing magic, Flux Roki, as it's called in the universe. And yeah. Let me just briefly focus because my brain's gonna lose track if I don't do that quickly. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, to continue my story time, I guess. We are at a situation where, you know, once again, basic spells, has some like basic understanding of the world now, despite having a very, I would say delayed childhood. He's finally starting to like experience life like he was supposed to. So yeah, we end up at a moment in life where he's kind of starting to like feel fine instead of like all the other time being mostly like just feeling this like inexplicable fear toward, you know, what his future will be, like all this anxiety that like he won't make it and that like his mom will be really disappointed in him. But nope, he actually manages, and you know, he's reached his 30s. Like, oh my god, monumental, very cool. What does her mom give him? The opportunity to get his like second pearl. What pearl am I talking about? If I have the reference open, I don't. Let me just quickly open it. On the old fart reference sheet, you can see this dude has 2 different metal pearls, right? This one and this one. Most of the time, he only wore one because the thing is, he'll get his second pearl once he inherits the library. Ooh la la. So yeah. The current situation is he's trying to get his second pearl now. Because his mom was like, you're starting to actually be quite competent. I can see that in the future, you could get your second pearl. So he gets excited. Instead of like just loathing his job and just moping around and whatever. That like he isn't like other kids and he has to like sit in the library all day and just do things not related to like fun. Or like having a normal job in this town that is full of specifically people who work in the mines, so just miners. When I was a child, I yearned for the mine. And you know, he isn't. He's not yearning for the mines. Instead, his mom yearns for books, so he's just stuck with books forever. But yeah. You just briefly breathe out for a second. I'd also maybe drink something. Let me just briefly mute the mic and drink something. Let me just also write it down, just in case someone is curious why like the mic is silent. Taking a sip. There we go. Okay. I'll just briefly take a sip. Okay, a bit better. I might take an allergy pill, I'm not gonna lie, because whew, my throat is really constricted right now. Allergies. What do you expect? Allergies. Oh yeah, right. I forgot to mention, but I also took my dad's mouse and keyboard because he didn't need them. But, like, my dad's mouse has like these extra buttons where like it's like a T2, T3 or something button. It's like extra buttons on the mouse basically on the side. I could have like gaming mice have them and stuff and whatever. So yeah, just that's a fun little thing now that I can like mess around with. Besides my tablet having a Control Z button. And, you know, just using my keyboard as per usual. Because I tend to use my keyboard just usually for undoing things, or my tablet pen to just, like, tap on the undo button. But yeah, I'll get back to narrating more story in a bit, like, very summarized. I guess this would be a moment to briefly mention it, I guess. Let me just pull up a tab. If you're indeed curious about, you know, like, just reading about character stories, I'll just briefly display it on screen. Come on, move over. Nope, don't take up the entire tab. Let me just make a tiny tab here. Let's see here, OBS. You seeing this? Yes, you are. Good. It doesn't need to be like a full tab or something, just like as a tiny showcase. Essentially, you have like Soren's profile and every single summary of like everything that happens in the campaign, by the way. So yeah, if you're ever curious, there's backstories and stuff. For his parents, it's specifically backstory without code. I just briefly opened the links. If you ever want to find his parents, they're just in the links tab. And, you know, you can just press on any of these. And then you can just, like, you know, just read stuff about them. I have, like, quite a bit of backstory denoted for his parents. There's, like, a good small bit. It's, I would say maximum an hour read for all 3 characters, if you're interested in, like, his entire family. But yeah, I guess, like, quote-unquote plug over. But yeah, if you're curious about him, you can just read about him on Toy House. Maybe after the stream, I'll put down a link in the stream description. But yeah. Right, so we left off at him being in his 40s approximately at this point. Because he's working towards trying to get, like, his second bead. And, you know, his parents are starting to get a bit older. But, one little issue occurs. So, you ever just come home after a stressful day at work and you just find your mom in absolute distress because just apparently your dad's dead? Yeah, it couldn't be me. That's the fun about fictional characters. So, yeah. The next predicament he finds himself in, his little wacky life, is that suddenly, just, his dad was murdered. Nobody knows why, nobody knows who, nobody knows when. His mom just eventually found him dead on the floor. But there's something curious about him. It's specifically stab wounds, and specifically, his eyes are missing. So, yeah. I might warn ahead that, could be a bit of like a maybe graphic description of like, you know, like murder and stuff. So content warning for that, I guess. If you're not a fan of like listening to that, just best mute the stream audio or something. I'll let you know for like just putting it down on like on the canvas itself if I'm done talking and stuff. I think it's the smartest decision I can make if like that stuff triggers you. But yeah, to continue getting into the story. The motivation is unclear for why Doghill was killed. And suddenly there's rumors and there's murmurs and God knows what. One of the interesting cases is that, whenever Soren does rarely actually visit a pub and stuff, without, you know, his mom knowing, he would absolutely, be murdered by his mom if she knew, you know? There are rumors that, you know, obviously his mom is responsible for his death, but that's not true. You know, she found him dead and stuff. So, you know, Soren's doing his best to dispel the claims that, like, his mom is behind anything. You know, the Silvers are a bit of a controversial figure, you could say, so, like, it doesn't surprise anybody when they're embroiled in controversy. But, you know, some of Doghill's friends, you know, come over to cherish him, to, you know, share their condolences, share some stories, and in Doghill's honor, they build a mausoleum on just, like, their property specifically. So anyone who's there to visit the library can now just also visit his grave, if they wanted to. And, you know, it draws in quite a few people, because, you know, he was friends with a lot of people. But some people don't even know what happened to him, and, you know, once again, some people think it's Anvilde that did it, some people don't. Some people think about conspiracies that may or may not be true, Others, they're speculating what could be the cause. But one thing that's for sure is that obviously these people are not safe anymore. And that turns, Soren's mom, Alida, into a very paranoid state. And that's kind of where life starts to go a bit more downhill for, both of them. Because, way back when, Alida wasn't very attached to anybody. She, once again, didn't really know how to love people. She didn't know really how to raise somebody. She didn't know how to raise herself, how to take care of herself that much. So, yeah. Now that, the one person that taught her everything and, changed her life is gone, it obviously deeply affects her. And, grief runs quite deep in the family. So, there's a lot of factors that kind of turn Alvida almost into a new person with how absolutely grief-stricken she is. And in result, it also puts more stress on Soren. So he fully inherits the library to, make sure that his mom will be fine. She still insists on doing a few tasks here or there that he isn't allowed to do. But, he accepts it. He understands that she also needs to do something. She's gonna go insane if she's not gonna take care of anything at all. He knows what his mom is like at this point. But one thing that's new is, this clinginess that she's never had. So suddenly, it's a new world for him as well. Because she talks so much about, Dagil now. She wouldn't talk a lot about him. She would usually be very quiet. She would be very private. Because Alvida doesn't talk that much. She's not a talker. She's a listener. So, to suddenly have his mother talk so much and, recount so many memories and tell a lot of stories, it's new to him. And even though it's a welcome surprise to him, obviously they still have to deal with the grief that comes from death. One thing that also Soren didn't expect, though, is that, just like, his father, his mom would also be targeted eventually. It was only a matter of time. Alvilda stayed inside. She never went outside anymore, ever since Dagil died. She insisted on staying inside and taking care of the library whenever he couldn't. She was making sure to patrol this goddamn house, to make sure at least her son would stay safe from anything that might happen. Alvilda was doing her damnedest to keep, the one person she loves the most beside her husband still alive. No one knew who the killer was. Nobody knew when they would strike. And it was driving her insane as well. She just wanted to make sure that Soren has a good future and, she's lived her life. She at this point already accepted what happened. And she was already ready to accept what would happen to her next, so long as Soren would be safe. So, anytime he was gone, she demanded he'd be back at a certain time. Anytime he wasn't nearby, she would scream for his name and make sure that he is alright. She did anything in her power to try to protect him. The last 2 years she did have left. Until, it was her turn. This killer, he wasn't known. And now, Soren had to deal with, both parents being dead by this murderer. So, great, what is all this about? It made him really nervous. And he didn't understand anything at all. Because Alvilda, she completely understood the assignment. She had at least some form of suspicion that this had to do with the sovereign of Kelton. Former army soldier and everything. She would have suspected that somebody would try to, eliminate her and take care of her. But as for Soren, why would anybody do that? Well, he was wondering about it as well. Nothing was clear to him. He had no answers to why everything was happening, why his parents were murdered, things like that. The only person who had any idea what could be the intention at all was Alvilda. But she wanted to protect her son, so she didn't say a single word to him. She didn't say a single thing to him. Soren never figured out what it could have been. Because Alvilda tends to keep things to herself. And one thing she didn't want to reveal are her fears. Not even to Soren. So, with her being, basically dead, at least in Soren's perspective, it was not for him to figure out what the hell happened, and, how the hell happened. So, we are currently in this predicament, where Sori kind of is now the next one, slowly just going nuts and losing his mind over everything that's been happening. Because this is normal. Why does this keep happening? Why do we have a murderer that is specifically out for us? This doesn't make any sense. Paranoia keeps creeping up. He keeps mistrusting people. And he's almost started adapting like his mom did. Becoming an urchin. Not urchin. Becoming a hermit. There we go. That's the right word. Just becoming more reclused from his entire community overall. Everyone in like his town he lives in, Ulvisiel, they know who Soren is. They know a little bit about his mom. Everybody knows who Dagul is in this town. So when suddenly, even Soren disappeared, people started to worry, and rumors began again. This time, though, it was ridiculous, because obviously, there were rumors now that even Alvilda died. There's rumors now that Soren did it. There's hell of a lot of rumors that now can't be dispelled, because Soren is choosing to retreat and not talk to anybody if they don't visit the library. But most people, they knew Soren's routine. He would run around town, take some circles, collect books, give out books that were ordered, make sure that certain books are returned in time. If he had to visit personally, he did. Things like that. But if he suddenly doesn't appear anymore, obviously there's a problem at our hands. Where did he go to? Where did he disappear to? Dagul's friends, they specifically were only there for Dagul. They really didn't like Alvilda. They most of the time just called her a witch. Most of the time, they actually knew about her activities in the war. But Soren? Well, that's a different story. They kind of just knew him like a wimp. They kind of knew that he wasn't really social. He completely followed his mother's footsteps. So, there wasn't much interest in him to make sure that he's fine. Except for one friend. There was at least one friend of Dagul's that was starting to worry about him, despite not having seen Soren for years at this point. So, all this paranoia and all these, stressing issues kept increasing for Soren. And suddenly he was completely alone. He may have gotten a second pearl from his mom, but at what cost? For her to die? It was all starting to really get to his head, and he was starting to become really frustrated with being a librarian. Because he just wanted to take care of the community. But the community didn't want to give back, it seems. All he got back is just rumors and rumors, and when people visited the library, it was just specifically regarding rumors. Nobody was really there to check up on him, like when it happened with Daniel's death. Whenever someone mentioned Alvilda's death, there was just mystery surrounding it. Nobody really displayed any form of, sympathy or some form of empathy with how Soren felt about his mom. It was mostly just, oh, what a shame. Anyway, about those rumors, most of the time. So there wasn't even, an opportune conversation to even dissuade people from, treating his mother like some form of sensational object that they can talk about. The more he was basically forced to talk, the more he felt isolated and completely crushed by life. It was really starting to get to him, especially at such an age, already being at his 50s, 60s, 70s at this point. For years, the library now has just become walk in, get your books, get out. The rest, Soren will do. But even if so, he won't be exactly pleased to see you anymore. All these deaths have really jaded him as a person, and it has kind of roughened his personality up. He went from, being just as gentle as his father, to being really bittered and almost antisocial, more closer to his mother. So now there were currently the following issues. Obviously, the killer is still somewhere out there, probably. The only question was, when was his turn? The next question was, when will people stop just, you know, claiming things about your family without trying to dispel them, or even, you know, like, not causing drama regarding it. It was really difficult to find anybody to, like, connect to with. He became quite alone. And even if so, whenever his childhood friend would visit, Arpegius, it was only for a certain amount of time, so he was back to being completely alone. Arpegius, at this moment of time, he didn't even know about the deaths of, you know, his family members. His best friend was more out, traveling. He was exploring the world. He was doing things that Soren would dream of doing. But he wasn't doing it himself. He was living kind of vicariously through Arpegius whenever he would visit. But he hasn't visited in a good while. He was busy with, like, being in a magical academy. He was busy in learning arcana and magic, just like, you know, he used to. With back when Avida was still alive. So yeah, he didn't want to disturb him. He didn't want to bother him. Even though the entire world was basically against him at this point. And despite everything, he still kept going. Soren, now in his 70s, was pretty devastated, pretty tired and worn, and he just wanted this point for life to end. He was already starting to become really depressed, and the longer he had to even try to think about everything that happened across his lifespan, the more jaded and the more unpleasant he'd become. Most of the time, people would just continue, not asking him how he's doing, just taking their books, leaving, making sure that at least, like, a sword in some form is informed that the books are back, that they took, things like that. But even if so, books that were taken and never returned were never now recovered by Soren. So at this point, the library is starting to really fall apart, just like his mental state was. But, you know, as his parents had the same fate, so would Soren encounter the same guy that killed his parents before. The one glaring difference, though, is that he survived. Soren still managed to fend the killer off, and he still managed to at least, not get completely murdered, but, by God, he was slashed across several times. He was really doing his best to fight with spells back, and just any time he tried to fight back, he would just stumble, and he was back on the floor, just writhing. Almost being mocked by the killer. Even just left to die. They didn't even check or anything. They just already thought he'd just keel over already and die. That is so pathetic. But, you know, after Soren, in an emergency, tried to heal himself, wondering if it even worked at this point, there was a certain little mental break. And he, for a brief while, has developed catarrhs. For a good while, he was actually convinced that he was dead. And that currently he was just dissociating in a coma-like state. That he doesn't exist anymore. That his body is dead, but for some reason he still keeps living on for some reason. Something must have been wrong. Nothing is making sense anymore. And his mental state just kept on spiraling and spiraling. And between that time, at least, that friend I mentioned, that Dagil used to have, he came back. But with concern, and his concern turned out to be a very true concern, as Soren was babbling about being dead and his mother still being out there, just stuck in limbo. And so many different things that didn't make any sense, that were not the usual for Soren. Soren was an analytical, logical guy. If there was some form of issue, he would always try to find some explanation for it. He would always try to find some ethical means to fix something. But this Soren, he was babbling about spirituality. He was convinced that, like, something happened. Somebody died, and it's him. not his family, everyone's dead. And he's convinced that he's being watched. That any moment, somebody will strike and finish everything that has ever happened to his entire spirit, his entire body. But it'll just come back. It'll keep on crawling back. Even if when he'll be buried, he'll just get back out. Because his body's unresting. He can't rest. Something is wrong. And the more and more his friend has to listen to all these insane ramblings, the more he's convinced he should just already send him to a psychiatric institute. And that's exactly what he tries to do, at least. And for that time, at least, he also succeeded. For a while, Soren was admitted, at least. And eventually, after a few months of being highly medicated, and just slightly coming back to his senses, he was at least let go again, since Soren insisted so hard to get back to his work. And he seemed to be fine, so he was at least let go, despite reluctance to let him go. So he was back at his library. He was back to trying his best to not lose his mind another time. But man, there were so many problems going on. Because obviously now the library was a mess again. And people just went in, dropped their books, took some books, everything was a mess. So he was busy trying to restructure everything. He was busy trying to just get his life back in track. Back on track, my bad. And the next situation that he found himself in is his good old friend Arpegius, here visited. Look at that! He's back! Let's go! Normally, Soren would be very pleased and, very excited to see his, best friend again. But something, again, was just odd about him. When Arpegius was back, Soren just kind of almost brushed it off, which was very unusual for him. So, what does a friend do in these situations? Slap him back awake, tell him to, man up, get it working. The usual, what would usually help. But this time it was different. He was babbling on about giving up. He didn't want to do this anymore, he kept saying. He was just tired. There was nothing he could look forward to anymore. And Arpegius didn't understand. He asked where, their parents are at. Oh, they're dead. Oh boy, he doesn't even know. Great! Now Soren's gonna have to be a bearer of bad news. So, yeah. As unfortunate as it is, Soren is an honest person, so he just straight up admitted what happened. The scars that were still on his face, they were suddenly visible, and now everything made more sense. Now, Arpegius was used to the family consistently, randomly having scars somewhere. Guess it's just in their nature to be a bit more chaotic when it comes to things like gathering stuff and just, hunting and whatever. But he didn't expect to hear just death. And what he expected even less to hear was murder, of all things. Who the hell would target people like you? Oh, well, it makes sense. You have a lot of money. It's not about the money, Arpegius. It's not about the money. So, why was all this happening? I don't even know. That was the only answer we could basically have from Soren. Not even he knew why everything happened. He just knew that it did. So, suddenly there were concerns. And obviously more grieving. Despite everything, though, Arpegius motivated Soren to actually do something for once. He told him to get up and try to find his mom then, if she went missing, so to speak. Because all Soren could find was a puddle of her blood. But, there was no body, there was nothing. So, she must have been out there somewhere. Maybe she abandoned him. Maybe she just was tired of him. Maybe she also just went insane, left. It wasn't really clear what happened. So, the current plan was to find her mother. And that's exactly what Soren was prepping to do. So that's where we get into the whole, he was preparing himself to, you know, go outside for the first time in like a good few years, properly get things going, actually get his life together, try to, you know, do something, at least for his best friend if he could, if he can't do it for himself anymore. He had to keep going. He had to find out what happened. And that was his current motivation, to try and find his mom. Or at least, if he's going to find her. We don't know. I know, he doesn't. But obviously I can't say too much. At least when it comes to to what Soren will know. So yeah, that's essentially the setup for like his entire backstory. This man is just really unlucky, I would say. Life dealt him a bad hand. And he has to basically fix everybody's issues now. Oh well, what can the man do? Obviously oblige! So yeah, I hope it was at least like fun to listen to, like my best attempts at recalling a story from like the top of my head to the best of my abilities. I tend to sometimes scramble like timelines and stuff, and like when something happens, so phew, forgive me like something is inaccurate, but that's what my toy house is for. That's why I tell people to like visit my toy house to read my character stories, because I can't recall them like by mouth, you know, like with I don't know what to call it in English. Mündlich is like the German word. I don't know if there's like a word for it in English. Maybe verbal is like the best comparison. But yeah. Point being, if you're interested in the story, I would just recommend just visiting the toy house. Because that's where you would just find all the character stories that I tend to yap on about. But yeah. I guess you could say back to art, quote unquote. I'm not sure if somebody's watching, but if somebody's watching, feel free to, you know, leave questions if something confuses you or anything. I'm always open to anybody talking to me. If not, once again, for archival purposes is fine too. It's currently awfully quiet. 138? Oh, I see, it's like the end tracks and stuff. I'll just, I'll just skip those because they tend to be they may be atmospheric, but they're not the best when it comes to like just listening to music whilst, you know, I'm drawing and stuff, and the audience too. I don't really know if like the audience that does watch my videos prefer it to have music in the background while they talk, or whether they would just prefer to have a quiet stream. That's something I have to like figure out if like I'll have a bigger audience someday that maybe wants to like answer me a few questions when I do like put up polls or whatever, if like I do something like that in the future. Point being though, it's like a future thing, specifically future thing. For now I need to like still set up my life so that like I can safely spend some time working on videos and stuff, and you know just redo channel stuff. Like I've already redone my banner. I don't know if I want to update my profile pic. I just kind of want to keep it the same for my YouTube. I don't know. I don't feel the need to update my icon, because Sita is, like, my mascot. The only thing that's outdated is, like, her design in that profile pic, but, you know, it's not, like, the end of the world if, like, it's still her old look. But I do need to update channel assets, that's for sure. That's something that'll take me a good bit. Because, art takes me a long time. If you didn't notice from like my 3-parter streams of like just working on these eyes alone. I'm at least still though glad to this day that I have become faster at drawing. And I'm also glad that I also now don't tend to forget that I need to like have a drink on my desk to make sure that my voice doesn't just up and crack apart into like 7 different pieces. I should maybe take a sip in a second again, because I think it did help with my throat to, like, sound less scratchy. I think it's helping with, like, just slightly digesting the fact that, like, it's currently dry season in Germany. It's god-awful. I keep having nosebleeds because just allergy season. It's just allergy season. I don't know if, like, it's also, like, the cause of me consistently, like, sleeping a lot lately. Because just, I guess I'm allergic, and it just kind of drains me more. Oop, that's my phone. But yeah. Point being, though, I definitely need to, like, maybe start taking some pills lately, because it's been really impossible to not suffocate on the air itself, just from pollen allergy. And, you know, to add to that, I also have dust allergy, so... Yeah, I'm kind of double-boned, you could say. Let's see here, because, like... It's, like, a good color for Soren, but, like... Should be a bit more pinkish for this dude. Yeah, there we go. I like that color a bit more for him. Careful. Good. Nah, damn it. Careful. Careful. Good. Very good. There we go. Okie dokie. I'm confident that I will finish this today, though. Which would make me very happy, because I got some more drawings to finish for my Toy House spam. There's like approximately 30 drawings I can upload now to Toy House, which is good. Because a while ago, there was I like put up a poll. I was like, hey, so how much do you want me to upload on every spam? And a majority voted like upload 50 plus images per every spam. And I was like, oh dear, okay, so people apparently expect me to actually like post more than usual. Because back then I didn't like have a quote-unquote quota for posting art. I was just like, oh, a few months passed, I should post my art again. And all at once, so that I don't annoy my audience. But, yeah, that's like, the problem. Because I currently need to kind of annoy my audience out of necessity. Because references like these are important for commissioners, and I've been commissioning a lot of artists to, you know, draw my characters lately. Because I just really like commissions. If I have some money to spend, I can just spend a little bit. I don't spend, like, my entire earnings or whatever. I spend, like, only, like, a sixth of, like, my entire income. That, you know, I use to, like, save up on car apartment, things like that. I already got enough to get a car. I basically almost got enough to, like, get almost 2 months of apartment rent. So, yeah, I'm basically pretty much set. The one thing I just need is a driver's license. It's really the only thing left, because financially, I'm backed. I'm good. In terms of motivation, I'm not really motivated, but anytime I think about living in this apartment with my parents, I am immediately motivated to move out again. And as a third thing, you know, at least now have the gear to, you know, animate and stuff. Get my, content, quote-unquote, back in line. Because my PC can finally handle things much better. Every program requires like 16GB RAM nowadays, and I have it now. I do. So yeah. Where did I leave off on the eyes? I was basically coloring line art and just shading the eyebrows some more. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just take a look and see. Apparently confetti. Did I miss something? Right, the little dot highlights. I forgot. I forgot about those! How could I? How could I? They're like one of my favorite things to add to eyes. My goodness. Okay, okay. Oh, how dare I forget that? How dare I? Let's see here. So, like... Is this on the right layer? Is this on the right layer? No, it isn't. Ah, I know myself best. There we go. And the 1, and the 2, and the 3. Just some smaller ones, because I feel like it. I'll just add some here too. It's children's eyes. Children's eyes can always be a bit more sparkly than usual. They're supposed to look all hopeful and, like, not destroyed by the world, and destroyed by taxes, and mortgage, and job applications! Jump scare! It's so funny seeing that, like, job application meme trend going around whilst I'm like employed, because it's like, oh my god, this is the first time I couldn't relate to like some mainstream thing. Oh my god, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. You know. I'm happy to have my job though. I would not want to replace it. I'm really happy with my job. I'm glad that I didn't become a graphic designer. I'm glad that I reconsidered instead doing the thing that like one of the college teachers said they made, which they had, which is like a degree in like screen printing. And I was like, what's screen printing? Oh, that's the stuff that prints stuff on t-shirts. I know that now, but like back when I was in art college, I actually didn't know that there's like different printing types. I just always assume it's kind of like a sew on buttons type of not that. How do you call those? Like those patches that were like sewn that you can iron onto like any piece of clothing and they'll stick. That thing, right? I don't know what they're called. Iron on patches? I don't know. But I think you get my point of like, you buy a pack, you take them out, you stick them on some pants or some shirts or some jean jackets, and then you just like put your iron over it and boom, magically exists. Who keeps bothering me on my phone right now? That is a bit annoying. I'm about to get up and just briefly turn my phone off. I don't want to be distracted. I must finish this until today. I want to finish this until today. And I'm pretty close to finishing it, I would argue, until today. Okay, just like this. Yeah, that looks nice. I like those highlights a lot. Those highlights are great. I do know the direction is here, but like, I kind of want to keep them on that side. I like putting them a bit more to the side instead of like making them follow like the rules. What are ya? The fun police? I just like to add some sparklies. There we go. Oh, these look nice. These look juicy. I like those. I like those a lot. Let's put on like 50. Come on, get on 50. Not 51, not 49. 50! Maybe put on DPI for my mouse. Driving me nuts right now. Thank you! This is like a gaming mouse, but I'm primarily just using it to like screw around with art. I still know what the third switch is for. There's like a T3 switch, but I don't really know what to use it for. I use the T1 and T2 switches though for like undo and redo because like they're just perfectly positioned on the mouse. Though I have to admit, I didn't even know that like DPI switches exist on mice. My question is that like, did my dad even ever use these DPI switches? Because I just use them to like stim around basically because I like the click noise they make. I like how clicky the mouse is, but I also don't like how loud it is in calls because like someone in a call can hear like the tank of a mouse that I keep moving around. Oh yeah, have I mentioned? The reason why my dad gave me this mouse anyway is because he was like, this mouse is broken. See if it works on your computer. And it worked on my normal computer. And he was like, okay, so like, what happens when like, you like get my computer then, that I'm gonna give you? Where is my fun scatter brush? 1 second. I need to focus. That's a smudge, that's a binary, that's a scatter, that's just a texture brush. Where did I put my spark? Oh, there it is. There's my sparkles. There we go. There we go. Rainbow sprinkle. My beloved. Is this the dead or the alive version? I have 2 different versions of my own self-made textures. Okay, good. I have the Rainbow Sparkly. Time to sparkle these bad boys up. I love me some confetti sparkle. Loud tablet noises, by the way, if you, just like me, have misophonia. I would suggest muting this stream or something. Oh, you're right. I was meant to, like, write down, like, I'm done yapping. Ah, I forgot. God damn it. To be fair, whatever. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll just accept that I forgot that. Because I'm being mad about it. Ugh, that's been such a frustrating topic lately. Because, a lot of, like my supervisor and, like, that annoying teacher that I despise with a burning passion and wish he would burn in hell. It's, like, the only person, like, I hate so badly this time. Still, everyone lately is, like, telling me, like, oh, you need to, like, loosen up, you need to chill, you need to, like, you know, take it slow, you need to accept if, like, you have failures. It's like, dear God, I know that I'm supposed to accept my failures, but, like, that's exactly the issue. I can't really accept my failures, just like that. And, you know, my supervisor was a bit nicer about it than, like, my stupid fuck-ass teacher. Because my supervisor went, like, yeah, it's easier said than done, I do understand, but, like, I feel like it would help you immensely if, you actually, slightly loosened your attitude and, you know, just, accepted the fact that, like, you can't always have, like, a perfect score for things, and, like, things will go wrong and whatever. He was much more, like, nicer about it, which I appreciate. Because it's not easy for me to accept defeat and things like that. Like, it just pisses me off when I fail. I guess it's kind of the perfectionist in me screaming its lungs out at me for doing that, but, you know, still. I just slightly wish that people wouldn't just have such high expectations of me, I guess. To the point I cannot meet them. And to the point they stress me out so hard that I start to become burned out. But, I kind of can't change humans like they are. Humans will always and forever, in some shape or form, ruin each other. I mean, what's all the war for, right? It's literally that. It's just ruining civilizations, it's ruining countries, it's whatever, you know? It's just things that are kind of predetermined to mess you up. So, like, if you have expectations towards someone and you keep, like going, like, how's your grade looking like, huh? How's the score looking like on your exam? Are you happy with your exam scores? Like, you know, I'm not gonna be happy about you, like, pressuring me into, like, paying attention to that, as stupid as it sounds. Like, oh, first world problem detected! Someone is complaining about the fact that, like, they need to live up to someone's expectations. Yes, I know. I know, oh, woe is me. I have a lot of stress on my shoulders, as if nobody else does. Blah, 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 blah. The classic, like, oh, boo-hoo, look, a person is complaining about life. People are gonna be, like, very annoyed with me. But, like, the thing is, just, like, have a little bit of compassion for once, because, I know that, like, life isn't easy, and that, like, it doesn't come easy, and it will never ever be easy. But, like, still, I feel like showing a bit of compassion to people, like, you know, people like me, for example, who just are really burnt out, and just don't want to do this anymore, and just, like, are only living up to people's expectations, not feel the disappointment of someone having believed in you, and things like that. Just, you know, like, fading, and someone just completely giving up hope on you, and things like that. It's a really soul-crushing feeling, and, cool if, like, you're not affected by it, but there are people like me who are affected by it, and it would be just... It would, like, make the world a better place if people were a bit less apathetic to, you know, not only, like, adolescents growing up and stuff, but also kind of, you know, showing acceptance and, like, a sense of community with people who are struggling regarding to things like that. Because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't feel this stressed about these types of things if, like, society normalized caring for people's problems a bit more, other than, like, you know, like, professional mental health, how do you call those? Like, people who work rehab centers or things like that, you know? You get my point with, like, someone, like, having a professional job of, like, taking care of someone who, like, might be disabled or have some form of, like, problems or issues. Like, we're humans. Shouldn't we, like, stick together on this earth? Should we, like, I don't know, be kind to one another? I don't know, know, maybe it's just me. Shouldn't we give everyone a chance to explain themselves if, like, they mess up? Shouldn't everybody have an opportunity to, you know, get better? I don't know, is it maybe, like, a naive thought to expect the world to, like, change someday and actually show some, like, support structure to that? I'm not blind to, like, the progress we've made as humans. I'm pretty proud of all the progress that has been done in the past years, don't get me wrong. But, it's not exactly enough if just one country does it. I feel like the entire world should do it, and I know it's wishful thinking, and I know it's, like, just, it's very cringy to, like, hear somebody's, like, thoughts of hope and stuff, but I want to believe that the world can be a better place if we just believe in that the world can get better. I try not to always be so, like, grim and bleak about things, because I have this tendency to, like, be overtly dramatic and, treat things like it's the end of the world. I do know that, like, I tend to overreact sometimes. Yeah, now that I'm older, I kind of can control it sometimes. Sometimes. I don't always have that self-awareness to reflect on my behavior. It's a bit unfortunate that, like, it's kind of a bit selective. And it depends on, like, how I woke up and what my mental health is like and blah blah blah. But yeah, there's a lot of wishes I have for this world, but my biggest one is to just show some acceptance and, like, open somebody's mind to the fact that somebody just, you know, wants a break or, like, needs one specifically. Stress isn't a good motivator, I would say. It just kind of is, like, it's primary 1A fuel to just... I don't have a better word for it other than degenerating somebody's mind. Like... No, deteriorating. That's the word, not degenerating. My bad. But yeah. I feel like stress just deteriorates the mind more and more. Because there's studies regarding how, I read at least, that if you, like, repress and suppress your emotions, it actually can lead to more memory loss. So, like, who's to say other things don't cause that? Who's to say that, like, stress can't also, you know, increase more problems? Like, we are aware that stress causes, like, an increased risk of, like, heart attack at, like, an older age. We know that, like, stress raises cholesterol levels. We know that, like, it does all these things to the body. And yet, here we are, still kind of, like, almost, like, snobbishly being, like, rude to somebody who's, like, expressing that they're stressed in life. Just... I don't know, like, having this, like, you think you're stressed? Check me out. Attitude is just so wrong. I understand when people complain about being stressed. It's because, like, they don't have an outlet to, like, share that frustration with. But, like, there's a difference between, like, condescendingly telling somebody that, like, you're more stressed than them. Or, you know, just, like, going, like, same dude, I also am, like, struggling with point A or B, and, like, I can't handle it lately, and just, you know, it makes me feel better if, like, we talk about this, like, together. It's nice to know that somebody else out there has, like, the same problems as me, so that I don't feel so alone, you know? But I guess it's just, like, the neurodivergent mindset speaking, I guess, that is, like, wishful thinking again. I would just like the world to be a nice place, you know? But, again, wishful thinking. And yeah, it'll never happen, blah 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 blah, pessimistic, blah 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 blah, nihilistic, you know, things like that. I'm kind of tired of consistently being around nihilists and pessimists who keep, like, saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, or, like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It's like, you know, not everybody, like, gets given an opportunity to do things that they're passionate about. Not everyone, like you, has, like, 2 sets of arms on their torsos. They don't have, like, 2 pairs of feet. Some people are missing limbs. Some people have disabilities. Some people don't know what color looks like. So, like, to just up and take it for granted and, you know, not take opportunities in life just because you think you can't do it, or because, like, at the same time you feel like you're not, like, able to do it. It's just kind of sad. And I say that also out of, like, a place of, like, personal struggles, because, I was the type of person that just gave up and turned around when I said I can't do it. There's nothing wrong with admitting you're bad at something, but you should still try. There's nothing wrong with trying again. There's nothing wrong with restarting something. There's nothing wrong with trashing the old if you didn't like it and just trying again. I feel like failure shouldn't be so, like, drastically dramatized. I feel like failure should be kind of accepted, if that makes sense, because we're, like, human, you know? We are going to be imperfect. We are going to make mistakes. And just, I think the biggest problem is just not being able to accept the fact that one can do mistakes, and, you know, it leads back to, like, this whole circle of, like, you know, me starting this conversation in the first place because, yeah, my supervisor said that, like, I need to, like, be a bit less stressed and just accept defeat and move on. But if, like, an academic measure is done to, you know, rate how well you've done, it doesn't really help. It just stresses one out even more. I don't know, I feel like schools shouldn't, like, rate things in terms of, like, how, you know, how well you performed something. I feel like schools should kind of, like, rate the effort, you know? Like, somebody might be really bad at something, but, you know, they could have put their heart and soul into it. And they get a bad grade for trying. And I feel like it kind of demotivates people from, like, trying new things and, you know, attempting something again. Because not everybody will just accept getting, like, a bad grade for something, you know? But, like, if you got a bad grade for not trying, it'd be understandable. And, again, like, the measure of trying, obviously, is, like, a very subjective thing. And I do understand it's kind of a bit of a difficult thing to, like, measure, but I feel like it would create a much healthier grading system than, just telling people straight up, you're bad at this, so here's your punishment, which is a bad grade, which, you know, can make you fail, which can, like, cause problems at school, whatever, things like that, you know? It just kind of doesn't seem fair, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Just, I guess, a little conversation about motivation and things like that, briefly. Let me look up a reference of an eye to make sure, like, I shaded everything properly. Because I want to make sure, like, I didn't miss something, because something is telling me that, like, I didn't shade the scleras properly, especially here, over here. I feel like that's a bit too dark. Let me quickly actually fix that right now, before, like, I just quickly look up a reference of an eyeball. Oh yeah, that was a bit too dark. If I desaturate it, put a bit brighter, I think that looks better. Okay, yeah, there we go. Good, good. Alrighty then, my dad should come home in a few minutes, actually. Like, in 3 minutes he should be coming home. Let's see here. I don't want videos. Just to give me a single pic where they're not staring into my soul. Okay, good, good. There's like an image that isn't staring into my goddamn soul. Right, so there are veins in these scleras, but I don't really like detailing that, even in the eye references. What else am I missing? I just... Oop! It accidentally downloaded the image. I didn't ask for that. I just wanted to see the image. Okay. Please open in a new tab. Thank you. Oh, that's curious. I never noticed that eyeballs reflect eyelashes. Oh, that's because sunlight is hitting the eyes. Yeah. I see. I didn't specifically intend for my eyes to be shaded in a way where like sun hits them. It's just rather just a random light source, so okay, that doesn't apply then. Because like specifically it's sunlight refracting the shadow back onto the eyeball. I see, I see. Right, so I don't think I'm missing anything else. Yeah, I actually think I did everything. I guess I could ever so slightly, make the bottom of the colors a bit more reddish, because, like, I don't know what to call it. Like, there's, like, this, like, red little fleshy part, where, like, you would usually, you know, like, it's somewhere here, there's, like, usually a red fleshy part, right? I don't really tend to detail it out of preference over just me not really liking it that much. I don't know. I just haven't found myself comfortable adding it in my eyes, but just basically, I feel like if I just add like a slight bit of red down here, would just make the eyes look a bit more realistic, I guess you could say. Plus, these parts I plan to give a red hue anyway, so yeah. I can at least also do that right now. There we go. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's funky. I didn't even see this little dent. Need to fix that. That's what I get for rambling on for so long and just like not focusing on the drawing itself. There's still some cleanup necessary, I just now notice. Well, I'll clean it up in a second. Point being that I would never post something without like checking 7 times if I really did color everything in. The only time it happens on accident is when I'm sleepy. That's the only time you'll actually catch me accidentally just like not coloring something in. Oh, my apologies if you heard that. Okay, there we go. Right, okay. Put it on like 55. A bit too intense still, I feel. I think 40 is good. I think 40 is fine. Yeah. Am I still missing something? I could add. You're right. I could add shadows to the liner over here. God, how I wish I could just open my old iFile, but it's on a drive my dad hasn't installed for me yet onto the new PC. I could do it myself, but my dad tends to get a little bit pissy if like I touch the PC without him like knowing what I did to it, especially because it used to be his computer, so like he doesn't want me to mess things up, which is understandable. I think this is like my second second favorite Minecraft OST. I think there's so many that I like that like I don't have like a definitive favorite, but like it's somewhere high up on the I like this spectrum. There you go, getting like some slight shadow to the lashes would be not too bad actually. Well, this one's a bit too far away. Okay. I hope though at least like somebody can relax to this whilst I just you know, draw away, talk stories, things like that. I do quite enjoy rambling, even though like most of the time my rambles are pretty aimless. I do admit. I don't really have it in me to be like a, I guess, professional streamer who can like always make entertaining stories or something. I just like telling stories about my life. But I do wonder how many times I tend to say that. I hope I don't say that too much, because I know repetition kind of sucks, but I'm kind of doomed to repeat myself, because I just tend to forget what I talk about, especially on a stream. Because on the stream, my brain kind of goes on autopilot. It just automatically finds something to talk about, and when it doesn't, I tend to actually be quiet. The only time I'm quiet is when my thoughts are quiet, and that doesn't tend to happen that much. Which is a blessing or a curse, depending on how you see it. I more so see it as a curse, that I can't stop talking. It's really inconvenient moments where I'm supposed to be silent. It's, for example, really distracting in the classroom, at least. Because, you know, I tend to talk to the teacher because, like, I don't like having rigid class sessions, and I kind of fall asleep if I don't do something. So most of the time I tend to just draw in class, because that's the only thing preventing me from falling asleep and from, like, being able to passively focus on, you know, doing my school stuff. And, you know, still getting something done at the same time, in terms of, like, art. It's just the most effective method I have and stuff. Which is not a very effective method, I'll be for real, but, like, what else am I supposed to bring to a school, you know? I'm not about to, like, bring my Switch out of my backpack and just, like, start playing Mario Kart in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of a lesson and stuff. Like, no, you won't find me doing that. That's so disrespectful. Like, the teacher prepares all these lessons, obviously, so that, like, you know, we learn something. You know, if nobody wanted to learn, then what's the point of having a teacher? That's, like, the whole thing, right? Most people don't like going to school because, ugh, school. I like school, but if the teacher sucks, I don't like school. It is really dependent on the teacher, and most teachers just, like, act like tyrants, at least. At least in my experience. I only had a good teacher once, and it's my 8th and 9th grade, and... No, not 8th. My 9th and 10th grade teacher. He was awesome. He actually taught me math well. He was the only teacher that could teach me to improve my math grades. Because my math grades were absolutely dumpster to Rona and stuff. Where I just didn't have help or, like, any form of support from a teacher. In terms of, like, who was willing to, like, explain further to me. Because I did sit with my teacher, after, you know, like, online classes. And I had, like, private sessions with her to try and understand math, but, like, it didn't help me. That teacher wasn't very helpful. And I feel bad, like, saying it like that, because she's, like, a nice teacher, but objectively, she couldn't teach me math, because it was a situation of, like, a person who, like, understands math perfectly, trying to teach somebody who's basically borderline disabled when it comes to math. So, yeah, you know. It's just a difficult situation of someone who's, like, neurodivergent being taught by, like, a neurotypical teacher, specifically, on how to, like, do something or whatever. It just didn't work out of principle. Like, the teacher didn't understand my problems with math. And she was like, oh, you need to repeat the basics of math. Then I was like, I do, though, because I do. I do look up how to calculate percent again. I do look up how to, you know, divide comma places. I do look up how to calculate time and things like that, but, you know, it doesn't help someone like me who struggles with the numbers. I'm kind of like a toddler. I can calculate math better if it's, like, visualized, or, if it's, you know, if it's, like, depicted in, I don't know, in, like, 1/8 of a pizza, so, like, if there's 4/8 of a pizza, how much pizza is that? Because then I'm like, oh, 0.125 times 4. That's, like, 4 slices in the diagram out of the 8. So I can just, like, take 0.125 times 4, and then, like, I have that number, and that's how you convert it into a decimal. You know, things like that. I don't know why my brain only recognizes, like, math things with, like, pictures, but, like, it doesn't comprehend numbers. I don't understand it. And before you scream at me, that's dyscalculia! You need to get it checked! I went to go get it checked. I was at, like, the job center. So, like, they could psychologically, like, test my capabilities. I was told I don't have dyscalculia, but I do have a math weakness specifically. Because, like, I performed under the, average rate for, like, math, but, like, I performed over the average rate for, like, German grammar and things like that, you know, for, like, my scholar degree. So, yeah, I don't have it officially, but I'm still convinced that I have it, because there's no way that I struggle with numbers this hard, you know, and don't have some form of issue regarding it. There we go. Some chocolate milk to, slightly clean the crumbliness from my throat. Goodness. Okay, note to self. I definitely need to take in some allergy medicine lately before I start a stream. My voice is so crumpy right now, Jesus Christ. Okay, good, let's get back to the drawing. I was asking myself if I already finished everything. I think I did, though. I think I did. Because, like, looking at all of these eyes, I indeed have finished basically all the check marks for, like, shading my eyes. I could go over the shading lines again and actually add a bit more detail through that, because that's what I did here on some eyes, but not every single one, it seems. So, I guess let me do that. Once again, I wish I had the file with me so I could just, like, go and check which layers I could have forgotten. Then, like, I usually add these references, but, as you know, it's not that easy. I need to definitely go in with, like, here, though, to, make sure that, like, all the, like, little texturing I added to, like, the eyes doesn't get lost and stuff. Plus, once again, make sure, like, the gradients still, you know, like, pop out of a shading. So that it's visible that there is a gradient going on in these eyes instead of just being shaded in a flat color. Right? Let's give this, like, a dark blue appearance. Like that, yeah. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, over here, add some, blue. Add some blue here. Add some blue there. These are much more purple than blue. So just, do, like, the tips here in blue. This one just, straight up needs, like, some pink down here. There we go, okay. Okie dokie. What was his gradient, actually, in his eyes? I forgot. Ah, it was pink! Oh, hello. Okay, so where did it fail? It failed here. It already failed here. Needs to be pink. How did I mess that up? Low. Okay, there we go. Yeah, much better. This is why I tend to scroll for all my layers and, like, check them a million times. This is exactly why. Because I knew that something was wrong. I could tell. There we go. now the pinkishness is back. It's back, boys! Okay, okay. Okay. Let me reference the eye again that I have open. Right. I could add some texture also to, like, the iris so that, like, it looks a bit more like a quote-unquote muscle question mark? Maybe. I didn't detail them here, did I? I don't think I did. Nope, I actually didn't detail them as much here. I don't want to over-detail too, and it's kind of the issue. I don't want to overdo it, because, like, it's still meant to be, like, kind of a reference. So that, like, somebody can see, like, how detailed their eyes are. But not, like, too much. Not, like, too much. Alright then, let me just go in again. It's again, at least for Soren. Because he's got, like, the, like, funky eye patterns that, like, I don't want to be covered too hard by shading. Yeah, there we go. They come through a bit better if, like, I add, like, a slight blow hue to them. Okie dokie. Nice. Just a bit weird. A bit over there. Good. Just a little bit here. Okay, nice. Right, so I still have to do some texturing for Doggy's eyes. I don't remember if I did some texturing in hers. I need to check. It's like for him, he's got like some funk delicious blue over there. She's just got some crystal effect. Okay. Alright then. Alright then. Let me make a new layer. Okay, so they both essentially kind of had like gem scatters in their thingies, didn't they? I can color these blue though. For sure. Let me just quickly check if it works with like the scatter. If not, I'll just make a quick scatter with like a different triangle or something. This could potentially work, but I feel like the thingies are a bit too big. That could be it. It could potentially work. Okay, yeah. Maybe if I put it on the hard light, it could also look not bad. But I definitely need to kind of decrease the shape size. Okay, that looks better. I would assume this would come out with a better result. Okay, there we go. I need to definitely decrease though on the confetti over here. It's a bit obstructive. A bit. Okay, that's confetti 1. Where's confetti 2? Is it above or is it below? I'm kind of uncertain. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. Oh yeah, right. I put it up above. I keep forgetting. Okay, so let's just decrease that to like 20% or something. And you, I'll make you maybe for dodge instead. Well, it looks a bit too dusky now though. I feel like hard light will work a bit better, maybe soft light on a higher. Oh yeah, that works much better. I'll keep them in soft light then, because like it still keeps the slight rainbow-ness around without too much going on. Good. Okay. Oh, what's going on over here? Hold on, I just briefly take a look. Okay. I see. Yeah, that's what's going on here. I knew it. Like that. There you go. Quick and easy fix. Okay, good. I need to think. What was I doing again? Oh, you're right, texturing. Ugh, goodness. I keep forgetting. I just gotta see what works best, I guess, for these funky little triangles, because I don't mind them, but so far the light isn't really it. Okay, dodge looks really pleasant though. I think I'll keep it on dodge and slightly blurry. It's like it doesn't take away all the attention from the pupils. Yeah. I think that's nice. That's a nice value. Needs to be a bit more vibrant though, without like overdoing it though with opacity. Yeah, that's a better hue, that's a better hue. Looks a bit closer to what he originally had, right? Yeah. I wish I had this file here as well, but I don't. It's all on the drive that my dad hasn't put in yet, that he promised he would put in. That's a bit annoying. I would like to check what I did here on these eyes. Because, like, I'm kind of fascinated because, like, I can't recognize which part was the scatter brush and which part was his eyes. Because, like, up above, obviously, is, like, the pink, but down below here is, like, some form of blue going on. Or was it the scatter, the purple part? I'm kind of confused right now. I'm confused myself. That's why these references are necessary, so, like, I know the steps on how to produce these. This is why I create references. It's also for, like, a dumbass like me. To just remember what, like, I did to make something look cool. Because, like, when I'm in the artist flow, it's not a problem at all to just, like, create something cool. But then, like, when I'm out of the artist flow, I don't remember what I did to make something look cool. And then suddenly it's an issue. Maybe just see if I can just recreate it with, like, just setting this on hard light or something. Kind of, but now make the eyes a bit too blue again. This is a difficult balancing act. How did I make it look so nice here? God damn it, me. God damn it. Okay, what if I just throw caution to a flyer or something? Throw caution to a wind? And make this blue, but instead I make stuff like this, just purple instead. Because I can't remember for the life of me how I did that. Actually, that looks a bit closer from memory. Okay, I think I actually did it like this instead. Because this looks much more like a quote-unquote satisfying. Because, like, it has, like, slightly blue bits sticking out. But not, like, too incredibly to a point it's kind of obstructive. Let me just go in again with, like, the current color I had. Just creating some, like, texturing and stuff. See if I, like... Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah, I think I... I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it. But yeah, don't ask me what the hell I did to make the eyes look that pretty on the original reference, because I have no clue! I have no clue! Let me see here. Because I clearly didn't denote his eye color, so that's on me. I guess I did do some layer effect shenanigans to make it look like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out! I'll get it. I'll get it somehow. If I just do this again, but turn off the... Where is it? Angle jitter... Hue jitter. There it is. The hue jitter. And if I slightly blur it, can I get like the same effect back that I had on this one? Because so far, the eyes are looking really pretty, but like, I still want it to look very accurate to the original. I like the new rendition, but like, I want it to look accurate. It's kind of similar. Kind of. Let me add another overlay. I want the eyes to look accurate. They're pretty right now, but they also need to be accurate. That's like my main gripe right now. We're not giving him paper effects on his goddamn eyes. Give this man just some like sparkly eyes. He needs to have the sparkle. He needs to be magical. Like a unicorn. About the unicorn part. Okay, we're getting somewhere with that. We're getting somewhere with, like, stacking the blob technique, I guess. If this one didn't look so awful, maybe this would actually look acceptable. But yeah, actually, I think I kind of fixed it. Kind of. Kind of. If I put the highlights over these layers, I feel like that would fix it as well. How do I put them below a dodge thingy? It wasn't a dodge thingy, actually. Does it make a difference? It doesn't. Okay, I'll delete this layer again, I guess. Wait, is something else on the dodge layer? No, okay, good. There's something on the ram dodge layer. Good. Okay. I just need to be very careful when I delete layers, la-di-da, because sometimes I have this tendency of accidentally deleting things I wasn't meant to. I actually kind of prefer to decrease this a slight bit. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. It doesn't, like, take away, like, a lot of the attention. That way. Okay. Layer 45. I feel like I should make this a shade shine layer, actually. It's kind of bothersome how bland that looked. I like it when it's a bit more vibrant, like this, yeah. It's a bit too vibrant, though, as well. Let's see here. Yeah, because, like, this is a bit too vibrant. Yeah, this goes well. This goes pretty well. It's, like, vibrant, but not, like, overtly overdone as well. You can slightly purple this one up. You can purple this fill up. There we go, okay. You're honestly pretty fitting already. What would do make you something pink, though? No, not intense pink, just slight pink. Just slight pink to match the orange a bit. I mean, that looks pretty, but, like, we're not going for pink. We're not going for pink. At least not for full pink. There we go, yeah. No, never mind. I like the orange. I like the orange. It made the red look a bit more fiery. You see, I recorded Guy Fieri pink. And it's just called Flame. Okay, yeah, nice. No, I'll go 8. Okay, so... I got, like, my little bundles on bundles and bundles of color over here. Okay, that's the confetti layer. I'll make that one go on top. And yoink! Come over here. I'm too lazy to do this again. I'm way too lazy. On normal layers, it actually kind of slays. It actually kind of slays on normal layers. God damn it. God damn it. Only copy one layer over, did I? Yeah, I think I only copied this one over. What about this one then? Give me that one too. On a 2-in-1 deal. Gimme. Stay up. Careful. Okay, this one kind of ruins it on normal, but this on normal actually looks kind of okay. I just put on like 75 or something. 70, 75, 75, 75, 75. There we go. It's a bit more subtle of 75 somehow. So what if I put just this on hard light 70%? Hard light 70%. Damn, kind of creates a bit more of a gorgeous effect. So like, if I put on 50, it just slightly darkens it without like completely darkening it either. Damn it. I like the vibrancy though on the upper eye. Damn it. What do I settle for 60? What do I settle for 60? Damn it. But like, it kind of is a bit more closer to the original like that, isn't it? 1 second. Let me just compare them next to one another, like this currently. So this one just has way more, like, blue bits. But it's also way more purple. But this one has more, like, open blue bit. Less purple. But I kind of prefer this one. Okay, let's go with that one. Let's put these bad boys back on hard lights. Come on. Merge and 60. There we go. Oh yeah, by the way, this computer doesn't have a telemetry issue that I had last time. It seems, at least. It doesn't appear on this computer anymore, which is very pleasant, I would say. I'm very happy about that. Plus, this PC is dead quiet. So it actually is kind of a plus for whenever I want to voice act or something. Okay! Is there something else I need to do here? Not really. I do want to slightly decrease, though, the opacity on the multiply here on the eyelids, or maybe put it on shade or something, because the color, it just doesn't look flattering. I don't know, I don't know. I could just slide it over a bit more to a purple area. Yeah, I think it looks a bit better with more purple. And this right here could just use a bit of, like, softening over here. Yeah, and a bit more vibrancy. I don't like that it looks like soggy cardboard gray. Yeah, that's a better tone. That's a better tone. Just, like, slightly make it lighter. Then it gives a bit more, like, the impression that these are indeed white, eyelashes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's looking not too bad. The only thing that came to mind right now is that I actually forgot to, color this part in. Yeah. I knew it. Okay, okay, so this one has the eyeball layer. Yeah, then I guess I can put it on this layer. Or, wait, this is the eyebrow color, right? Yeah, then I'll put on eyebrow color. That's the smartest thing I could do. Give me my old man again. Just need to see what, like, I made this color specifically. It's still a bit too blue. There we go. I wanted to slide off tint purple. Just slight, but not like too extreme. Because it's still supposed to like slightly resemble a fleshy color, but not too much. I think this color is ideal that I'm currently like adding. I think this color is not bad at all. Right, I was meant to clean up the eye. God damn it, I keep forgetting. Ugh. That's what I get for being so forgetful. Okay. Let's put on the ruler for this. We can make the shading slightly a bit more pinkish. Right? And add more of some color down here, because like the most top color is in like a very bright highlight. Did we have a shine layer? We have a shine. Very good, very good. And I can add some shine here. Okay, let's give it a bit, even more of a, like a red tint here. Good. Okay, and let's just give another red tint over here. Just to accentuate that there is, in fact, actually flush here. There we go. That's a pleasant tint. I would say that that one doesn't overdo it too much. Okay, let's add the, like, little sparkly thingy that our eyes have over here. Let's give it a slight orangey tint up here. Good. Okay. I love the little sword strike effect in this particular song. I at least think it's a sword striking effect instead of like some like tool clanking or something. It could also be a hammer, but it sounds more like a sword falling to the ground or like being struck by a hammer to me, like by a blacksmith or something. Or maybe it's just my imagination just running a bit too rampant. Welcome to Game Theory! Rate your theories below! I slightly miss MatPat. Dude was entertaining to listen to. Or maybe it's just theater kid communication. Maybe. Right, so let's make it more, yeah. Yeah, that's a bit more, like a closer color to like our eyebrows. Or like 10%. No overkill over here. We just want like an approximate implication of eyebrows. 15% should be fine, but it looks a bit too red now. It's still like a slight tinge of like blue. This is still a bit too red over here. This is a bit too green over here, so let's just keep it here. Maybe slightly decrease the saturation actually. Yeah, I think the saturation would be good. Good. Are my sketch layers still on? Oh yeah, they are. Okay. Alrighty then. Up you go. Good. Is there something on here? Nope. It's just an empty layer. I'll take it. I'll take it. I just wrote like Ira something like storyline, right? Ugh, that's a yucky color with this red, gray background. Jesus. I'm sorry for the flashbang if you're watching this like late in the evening. Oh, I put it below it. I didn't put it up above. Human storyline. This is a bit too big of a text now. God damn it. This is also too big. God damn it. Lefty problems. A lot of right-handed people write too small to the point I can't read it. But a lot of left-handed people, they write so big that like it's easier to read from a mile away. I am, unfortunately, one of those types of people that, like, write really, really big. Teachers hate me because I write entire essays on tests and they have to read everything I write down. I feel bad for them, but, like, if they say you need to write down in proper detail, then I will write every single detail to make sure that I will get that score point. Oh yeah, yeah, this is the track with like the dolphin sounding thingies. Be smaller, please. God, how I love digital art for just the fact that I can just reduce the text I wrote, because I hate rewriting text always. That "the" needs a bit more space too, so like it's more easier readable. There we go. Okay, yeah, sorry, yawn. Ugh. I hope you didn't hear my jaw just making a popping sound. This is 20s, this is 40s to 50s, this is like 60s to 70s, yeah. Childhood. 20s to 40s. Right? Oh wait, 20 to 30s. 40s is where the latter part starts. 40s to 50s? Yeah. And then there's like 60s to 70s. And then we got, angered. I'm gonna write it on a silly. I like being silly. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Looks a bit empty though. I'll put that nice in the center. It still feels empty. I feel like I should draw something down here, goddammit. Because like, this was just kind of... Shut up! This is kind of feeling claustrophobically. But yeah, these are not feeling claustrophobically. And that's fine. What can I think of? I got a little idea on what I could doodle down. Let's see here. I feel like that would be just a cute doodle to complement this reference. Versus let you shave it down. Just let you round it out. This. Right-handed person, not a left-handed person. He's a right-handed person. How do right-handed people hold their pen? Like that. Right? Wait, no, I have to consider the angle. The angle is a bit more like this, right? Yeah. Wait, just a second. That doesn't make any sense. Huh? Yeah, the angle is like this. Yeah. Then the thumb is over here, not the other side. Oh goodness. Right hands give me strokes. I draw everything with a left hand. I reference always my right hand for left hands, but I always like put the thumb on the right hand of a left hand, if that makes sense. My brain isn't capable of mirroring images properly. It's a bit annoying, because like, that's why I struggle with like mirroring hands for like so many years. Because like, I just have for some reason like some form of directional weakness that I never realized until like I started driving cars and stuff. It's a bit of a like a weird revelation to have. But like there's a lot of things just basically wrong with me, quote unquote. Only ever since I work a job, I also realized that I have like name blindness, and I have like I even have like face blindness, because like I recognize people by name sometimes, I recognize people only by face sometimes. And nothing makes sense in my head. Nothing. I'm a weird little fella. Yes, sit down, my boy. This one honestly just feels like such a Frutiger arrow track to me, though. Like, the specific Minecraft OST. It must be just like the dolphin sounds in the song or something. It must be. I mean, I don't even know if it is like dolphin sounds. It sounds also like kind of like orca sound effects, but still, like it's like some aquatic animal sound effects, basically. But yeah, it sounds like very like way too technology, like advanced for its time or something, if that makes sense. Like some tracks, they kind of like give me like time period feelings, if that makes sense, because like some tracks in Minecraft give me like that feeling of like being a medieval one, like, you know, like the one where like I was commenting about how like you can hear like a sword or like a hammer striking in a song with like a sound effect. That one always felt like more like a medieval themed one. This current one, it was just like kind of like almost like utopian cyberpunk Frutiger Arrow type of vibe. Not Frutiger Metro though, like specifically Arrow. But yeah, maybe I'm just like overthinking it and stuff. But yeah, that's just what my brain always like imagined when it heard these songs. My little son. They just give us a bit more physics. Make it a bit shorter. His bangs are a bit shorter. Do you call that bangs? What do you call that side hair? Little off strands? I don't know. I can't. He just looks so adorable. No, I'm keeping that in. I'm not erasing that. That is so funny. No, I'm keeping that. Even if that was unintentional, I'm keeping that. Isn't it pleasant just being able to, like, make small little stupid doodles? They make me so happy. I like silly little doodles. They're like my favorite thing ever. There you go. And like this, and like that. Yeah. Goodness! Are people missing me today or something? Why do I keep getting so many notifications? That is unusual. Normally when, like, I stream, like, I get 0 notifications. Partially because, you know, I put Discord on Do Not Disturb, but, like, there's somebody else kind of, like, bothering my messages right now. I mean, I'm done in a moment anyway. Which is probably when I'll end stream and just, like, go lay down and rest my back because it hurts quite a bit. Like that. No, it looks weird if I do it like that. Just a single line is enough. There we go. I'm just low-key kind of chilling with the Minecraft music. I love silly little duels like this. I love them. I keep cracking up. It's too cute. It's way too cute. I love adorable duels like these. The steps just like fix this one. There you go. Wait, that was a color layer, right? Yeah, it was. Good. 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 I need to make the background dark again. It's subtracting me from being able to see what I colored in or not. There we go. Okay. This is specifically, like, the very, very white layer, not like the slightly off tinged blue layer, so that's like the pearl stuff. There we go. where's the skin tone? Put on this layer, because this layer has a low opacity setting as well on one of them. Okay. Let's just add the silver tone as well. Good. Actually, let me, for consistency's sake, color that piece of line art in as well, so that, like, it doesn't bother me when I look back on this drawing. Wait, this is still, like, all the eye layers. Yeah, exactly, that's the coloring. Did I put it on this one? Oh, this one was awful lot. Oh yeah, it's right here. I keep forgetting. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, one last color to worry about. There we go. I don't know why I'm so humored by this, but it's just very entertaining to me right now to look at him like this. My little son, I love him. I love my little son. Oh, you're right. I put this on the... Yeah. I can put this on the higher layer or something. Yeah, there we go. This one. Well, actually, it's gonna look weird. Let's make that one a band instead. There we go. Nope. Yes. Wow, this color looks so incredibly gray right now due to, like, the sunlight outside. Like, I know it's, like, a very, like, off blue, but still, it looks like gray due to the sunlight outside. That is funky. That is messing with my brain right now. There he is, my little son. My sunrun. Anybody else left? No, good, good. Okay, good. Just a quick cleanup. There we go. Just for consistency's sake. Ah, isn't he beautiful? He's a bit too obstructing, though. I'm sorry, my little son. I must contain you. You are too powerful. Okay, so let's put all of this stuff in a folder. Well, I'm doing it the lazy way. All the way around, put it on like this. Mask, mask, full lock. Here we go. Making it a bit less distracting. Good. That way someone still pays attention to the eyes instead of him down here. I'm sorry, Soren, but you can't just take away the attention from yourself. People need to stare at your eyes, or else they can't draw them. Including me! Okie dokie. Anything I should note? I don't think so. I actually think I'm, like, done. I think. Because, at least, like, there's nothing in my mind I still have to do for this reference. I shaded the eyebrows, I gave highlights, I gave some basic shadows. I added some texture into eyes. Well, to be fair, I did want to add a bit of texture into her. I'll risk it. I'll risk it for a biscuit. Maybe it'll be worth it. Because once again, she did have kind of like a gemmy appearance. A gemmy appearance in her, irises. Let me just... wrong layer? Right layer. What could be the culprit? Hello? Okay. There's still a lock on this, is there? No, there isn't. Okay, let me just quickly do that, do this. Mouse? Ah, it's that issue again. Yeah, it's that issue again. This new PC has, like, the slight issue of just, randomly choosing to, not give a specific layer some input. Because, like, it works somewhere else, but, if you, like, do it on the current canvas on a specific layer, sometimes it just doesn't want to do the thing it's supposed to do. As you can see right now. It's not due to a clipping layer, as you can see. Like, I should be able to, like, draw freely anywhere if it worked, but, like, I just put on the lock, remove the lock. Nope. Okay, this works properly, this works properly. The lock works properly. Okay. That's a bit of an annoying issue I have with this computer sometimes. It just randomly breaks something just because it wants to. Okay. I don't know what's the cause of it, so let me just do it on a different layer quickly. Oh, you're right! Oh, you're right. I just realized there's alpha lock on the folder. Alpha lock on the folder. I had that same thing yesterday. There we go. Yeah. Goodness, I forgot that that was the rare time where it wasn't a new PC issue, like with my tablet and things. Because I yesterday struggled also with like my tablet not working and like not being calibrated properly, and I like looked up on Reddit what to do, and they were like, yeah, just like set all your like values on the screen properties to 0. When I tried to do that, it jumped back to like 1. People were like, oh yeah, restarting my computer worked for me. I restarted my computer, it didn't work for me. I ended up reinstalling the software, just putting it on like full area. I had to give up, capitulate, and just set it to full area, and then I recalibrated 7 times, and then eventually it started working again. It's just one of those like quirks when like you change computers that just kind of continues haunting you, basically. But yeah. There will continue to be like inexplicable problems that I can't explain. Spooky phenomena around this computer. Ooh, wow, so scary. Okay. Actually, it doesn't look too awful. It looks a bit blotchy, though. This looks better in this setting. I'll keep it like this. I'll keep it like this, yeah. Also, I think I heard my dad come in, so yeah. It actually would be time now, like for real, for real. Okay, I'll export this, and then I have another piece for my Toy House spam. Quiet, phone. I should really... on next stream I'm gonna turn my phone off. I didn't just expect so much activity. I don't know who keeps messaging me. It's definitely weird behavior because I don't tend to be messaged that much. But yeah. Point being, thank you for anybody who like decided to watch this, to anybody who came eventually, or like, you know, like did something while it's just listening in the background. I'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I guess until like the next 2 months or something when I'll make some actual work happen again. So yeah, bye bye. Bye bye.